You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Las Vegas, a magnet for millions who come here seeking fun, fantasy, and fortune. But tonight it's about finishing strong. Kellen Moore back in the field where he became college football's all-time winner, seeks an incredible 50th win as Boise State starter, part of a strong senior class that say they are inspired to be here despite the BCS snow. And for Dennis Erickson, he loved to finish strong after an 0 for November that cost his team a chance at the Rose Bowl and cost this veteran his job. The Silver Fox in the mosh pit, the Sun Devils who are saying the right things, but will they in fact show up? We'll all find out together. Beautiful winter's evening here in Las Vegas as we welcome you to the Maaco Bowl, Las Vegas. It's part of ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week. Just like last year, plenty of Boise State orange and blue inside Stan Boyd Stadium. The Broncos with a BCS ranking of number 7, just a single loss on the season, taking on the 6-6 Sun Devils of Arizona State. Happy holidays from Vegas. Chris Fowler, good to be back with you in the booth, my friend. Kirk Herbstreit. We'll talk about the topic of motivation tonight. And we'll also say goodbye, Kirk, to a couple of figures who made a big impact in college football over the last 4 decades. Dennis Erickson, and the last 4 seasons, Kellen Moore.
Well, Kellen Moore has been an amazing quarterback, obviously, for Boise these last few years. His leadership, the way he's really gone about carrying himself as a quarterback of this team. Chris, the thing that stands out is what you just said. He's going for his 50th win tonight, to potentially go 50-3 in his career. And it's the way he's been able, again, to be able to read defenses, make quick decisions, and again, watch his accuracy tonight against this Arizona State defense.
14,000 plus yards in his amazing career, so many school records. Second, historically, to Case Keenum of Houston in touchdown passes. Somehow, despite the great stats, only finished 8th in the Heisman Trophy voting this season after being 4th a year ago.
Well, I think tonight the big challenge for Arizona State is their secondary has been a bit depleted this year. They're especially at the corner spot. Not a good problem to have when you go up against Kellen Moore. I think they're going to have to take some chances. I think they're going to try to stop the running game first and then see if they can somehow get pressure and try to unravel a bit Kellen Moore. Tough to do. Not many people have been able to do that in 4 years.
Yeah, it's an ASU team that's missing 5 DBs in preseason. And missing tonight, Jamal Miles is their playmaker as a returner, a receiver, and a runner. He's home sorting out a personal situation. And Dennis Erickson saying his team's emotional. The Sun Devils are saying the right things.
They are. They were 6-2 at one point, and it looked like they were going to represent the Pac-12 South in the Pac-12 championship game, and they lost their last 4, and then all of a sudden Dennis Erickson gets fired. So at one point they're 6-2, flying high, feeling good about who they are. They have talent. There's no question about that tonight. For me, it's where is Dennis Erickson's team, their mindset. Are they excited to be here tonight? And when they face adversity, something that's caused problems for them the last 4 games, how will they handle that tonight in this bowl game?
They've got a big senior group too. They're emotional, they say. Dennis Erickson's mom is here. And let's go down to the field now to Tom Rinaldi and get a word with the coach.
Thanks very much, Chris. Dennis just led your team out on the field here for the final time at Arizona State. It's been an emotional week. What was the experience like for you in the locker room?
It's been hard. It's been a hard week, actually a hard 3 weeks. But you know, our players are ready to play. We've practiced well, very emotional in there, and we'll see what happens. It's still a football game.
You have a roster of players who essentially have never played in a bowl game, Dennis. How do you know they're ready?
I just can get a pretty good feel of this team. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, the game goes. We're playing a great football team tonight, as we all know. So we just got to play with it ourselves and play hard and tackle and do the things we need to do.
Good luck and enjoy it, Dennis. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tom, thank you. A little misty in the old guy's eyes as he hopes his Arizona State Sun Devils can go out on a high note and somehow stop Kellen Moore. Maaco Bowl, Las Vegas coming up. Bowl games, if you follow the trend, have been close. All but one decided by 10 points or less. See if we get that tonight here in Las Vegas. Arizona State won the toss, deferred to the second half, and Chris Peterson And Kellen Moore-led offense will take the field first. On a windy night, the wind is blowing from left to right. We saw Kellen Moore trying to deal with that, throwing into it in the pregame warm-up.
Yeah, we did.
Could be a factor.
Yeah, it could be. It's been blowing all day today in Las Vegas, and watching him throw, he and both quarterbacks were able to handle the wind pretty good. We'll see how it affects the game.
Freshman Alex Garrett kicks it off for Arizona State, and Doug Martin, the senior tailback, 2 yards deep in the end zone. Breaking free, and Doug Martin across midfield in a foot race. Escapes and puts the Broncos on top instantly. Moore says, I like it. Don't even have to take the field and we get the lead. Well, Martin, when he's healthy, Kirk, as you know, a very dangerous weapon as a runner and a returner.
Yeah, he missed a TCU game, the only loss that Boise State had, but he gets some great blocks. I mean, this is the way Boise State wanted to set the tone. He also shows the physicality, being able to run out of that arm tackle, and then again, another broken tackle, and then the speed at the end to take it all the way to the house.
Michael Frisina for the extra point, and extra points have been a problem for the Broncos this season, and their opponents for that matter. Now, we wondered how Arizona State would react to the first sign of adversity. Kirk waited 14 seconds to get behind in the game.
Well, that's the thing. And Kellen Moore, you said it, Chris, he's pretty fired up. Jumping on the coach. I mean, he's thinking 49-3, trying to get to number 50. I get 7 before I even get out on the field.
Nightmarish start from Dennis Erickson, and it goes to show you emotion is great in the locker room. Players say the right things, but now, right at this point, they have to show that they care. They have to show they want.
Absolutely. It's one thing to be emotional and to want to go out and play well for Dennis Erickson. But where was that rallying call in the month of November? Again, let's remind people, this is an Arizona State team that was 6-2, controlling their own destiny to get to the inaugural Pac-12 championship game and have a chance to play Oregon. They lost 4 straight, and in 4 straight games, they had a chance to win them, and they weren't able to deliver. And now their first game after that, they give up a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Talked about the 0 for November. They lost 3 ball games to teams whose coaches were let go. They were not losing to Murderers Row in November.
No, at all. Not at all. They were actually better than the teams that they played physically.
It's a Maaco Bowl Las Vegas record kickoff return for Doug Martin. Officially 100 yards. Now we'll see if Osweiler, big 6'8" quarterback for the Sun Devils, can answer. Kickoff taken out of bounds. This is where Jamal Miles would have been expected to make a big impact as a returner for the Sun Devils, but again, he's not here. Of course, the latest kicking miscue gives Osweiler great field position at the 40.
Yeah, and Osweiler's had a great
kick
year.
out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
Osweiler's had a great year. He'll take advantage of this. We'll see if he can take advantage of this great field position. But 6'8", 240 pounds. You can see the tallest quarterback this year to play college football. But the thing that I love is his ability to read these defenses, and he loves to throw the ball vertically downfield, and he's got a couple tall receivers that he likes to throw the ball to.
3 receivers bunched to the short side of the field. This is a Bronco defense that was suffocating in this bowl game a year ago as they dominated Utah. They fake it to Marshall. Osweiler looking downfield, throws into traffic, and it's broken up. Defensive play made by Cedric Phoebus, the safety. Impact players, Cameron Marshall, when he is healthy, as HTC brings you a look, and he is healthy in this game.
And he's going to have to run the football tonight, take some of the pressure off of Osweiler. And they've got some big receivers we talked about. Jarrell Robinson leads the crew. He's 6'4", about 220 pounds, and can get downfield against the smaller defensive backs against Boise State.
Play action, Osweiler rolls and flips it off in the flat. Almost dropped. It is collected and taking a huge hit is Trevor Cole, the tight end, after about a 7-yard gain.
That was a big hit by a freshman there to come in to finish that play. One thing about Boise State is they are not just a bunch of guys out there scrapping around. They will lay the lumber. That's a true freshman, Lee Hightower, who's a corner who came in there.
Giving away 60 pounds to the man that he hit.
It hit him low. They're going to fall.
It was
Doesn't
Cole
matter.
who stepped out of the game.
Exactly.
So it's 3rd and 4. We call him Coach K. Brad Caskey, defensive coordinator for Peterson. It's Marshall and Kyle Middlebrooks. He'll try to pick up the slack for Miles, and a timeout from Osweiler.
Timeout.
Broncos defense that, much like the offense, likes to confuse their opponents and does a good job. So a quick break. Erickson and the Sun Devils in an early hole. Arizona State facing a 3rd and 4 as they try to answer the opening kickoff return for a touchdown by the Broncos' Doug Martin. Jamar Taylor is back at corner. That's a difference maker for the Broncos. He's number 5, and he is their best DB. Back healthy tonight. Pflugrad in motion. Osweiler looking left, flips it out in the flat, and it's caught by Middlebrooks, who's got a first down. So Middlebrooks, who's filling that Jamal Miles role, catches a similar route.
And it was a great read here by Osweiler to get the ball out quickly on 3rd down. They blitzed. They left the zone to the left there. The quarterback open. He makes a nice quick throw and an accurate throw so Middlebrooks can get upfield and pick up the first down. And after giving up that kickoff return, that was a very important first down for Osweiler.
See the quicks for Middlebrooks, who's just 175 pounds. Osweiler bobbles the snap. You can see the big guy moves pretty well. He covers ground quickly with those long strides.
If you haven't seen him play much, you'll be surprised by how well he'll move. For being 6'8", 240, he gets tired of being talked about as a former basketball player. He had a full scholarship ride offer to Gonzaga, but he is a guy who can move around laterally. This time he makes makes something out of nothing there to give him a manageable 2nd and 5.
Again, Biggett. Now Marshall's got the ball. His first carry of the night. A man who ran for 18 touchdowns this season. That's more rushing touchdowns than 7 Pac-12 teams have.
And he's very, very important tonight. Even though you look at their numbers, and Osweiler in the passing game seems to dominate against this Boise State defense that has a great, I mean great defensive line. Osweiler needs Marshall to be able to get on track enough to make this Boise State defensive line have to respect that aspect so they don't just pin their ears back.
They need 4 on 3rd down. Osweiler pressured, but flips it out behind Marshall, who makes a terrific catch, but then loses yardage as George Iloka popped him.
Well, keep an eye on George Iloka there coming off the field. He definitely looks the part. And Boise State, sometimes they will hit you, and they're not worried at all about the consequences. Iloka is really one of the more valuable players on this defense. He's a safety. They had to move him to corner late in the year because of some injuries. And this time he steps up big on 3rd down. Pretty good effort there by Marshall to make the catch.
Hubner to punt. It's kind of a sand wedge. Potter steps up and takes a fair catch at the 12-yard line. Saturday night on ESPN, Capital One Bowl week continues with the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. Chance to see the Southern Mississippi team. Austin Davis went into Houston and broke the Cougars' hearts, knocked their BCS dreams apart against Nevada, 8 o'clock Eastern time from the island. Here comes Gillimore, his first series, Kirk. Not great field position. See if he goes to work immediately in this vulnerable ASU secondary. Martin scored the touchdown on the kickoff return as one of our impact players, brought to you by HTC.
Yeah, well, we already saw what an impact he can have in special teams, but of course when they run the football, now that he is healthy, he's a great complement to what Kellen Moore in the passing game does. And Tyler Shoemaker stepped up. Everybody was concerned early this year what was going to happen without Austin Pettis and Titus Young, and this offense changed their style, weren't quite as explosive, but Shoemaker obviously the go-to guy with 15 touchdowns on the year.
Second down, they flip it inside. Catch made and blockers in front. Boldevine, the speedster from the Netherlands, into Arizona State territory. And Floyd stopped him. You can see how Moore is so brilliant at spreading the ball.
How about the right guard, Chuck Hayes, leading the way downfield? I mean, this is an outstanding effort. 55 right in the middle of your screen. In fact, he's got a few linemen that are trying to keep up with him, but it's only Hayes. Look at the lineman. He's downfield trying to pick up a block 40 yards downfield. I love that.
44-yard gain for the Dutchman. This is Martin. Sun Devils stop it.
Big concern tonight for Arizona State. There's been a lot of talk about Vontez Burfict. You know, he didn't play much in the Cal game late. They had to bench him. Beginning of the year, he's one of their star players, one of the top players in all of college football. They've had some issues with him, with freelancing a bit on defense. So he's not starting tonight. Arizona State's going to play a lot of nickel, which will keep him on the bench. They're playing with 5 defensive backs, and for now, Burfict on the bench on the sideline.
I'm not looking too happy about it. Moore on 2nd and 9, flips it short. Catch made by Matt Miller, the freshman who's had such a big year. Made an immediate impact, Miller did. And there you see Burfict, a very controversial figure. Arizona State fans well aware of his issues on and off the field. Many feel this will be his last game because the junior is just not enjoying being in Tempe anymore. And even though his draft stock has plummeted.
Yeah, I mean, he was viewed by many as one of the top defensive players in the country coming into the season. Has not had a great year, has had a lot of personal foul penalties, and finally Arizona State and Dennis Erickson said it's enough's enough, and they've kept him on the sidelines.
On 3rd down, Moore looks in the direction of Shoemaker, his 3rd down weapon, but it's incomplete. So after giving up the big play, the Sun Devils defense holds. Colin Parker, the linebacker, in coverage.
Yeah, this is usually a play that Shoemaker will make, but it's at least it's 3rd and 6. 3rd down and 6. They don't get a ton of pressure. Looked like Shoemaker kind of short-armed the effort there instead of reaching out to get that football. Maybe felt a little bit of pressure there from the Arizona State defense.
Team that's gone for it on 4th down 23 times this year and made 14 of them. Goes for it on 4th and 6. Empty backfield, and Moore, drop back and just kind of pooches it. And even does a pretty good job with that as it rolls out the 10-yard line.
He does it all.
Surprised he didn't run a play there?
I thought, with the way they've been able to jump on top of Arizona State, maybe try to really jump out to the big lead. But instead, they pin Arizona State back.
24 yards on the pooch. Osweiler takes over at his 11 when you come back.
ESPN College Football, the Maaco Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Maaco. Maaco Collision Repair and Auto Painting Centers repair and paint more cars than anyone. Uh-oh, better get Maaco. Las Vegas. Ring in 2012 in Las Vegas. Enjoy fireworks, dining, nightlife, and more. Only Vegas. And the Lexus December to Remember sales event for a limited time at your Lexus dealer.
300 children from disadvantaged backgrounds from the Las Vegas area able to get shoes, socks, and other supplies. The Goody Two Shoes Foundation event held outside Sam Boyd Stadium earlier today with the help of the Broncos and the Sun Devils. So Chris Peterson, Kirk, chooses not to go for it on 4th down. Pooch punts it with Moore, and now Osweiler backed up at the 11. Marshall. Boy, it is tough to run on the interior wall of the Broncos. 4 senior starters up there. Erickson being replaced by Todd Graham. Comes from Pittsburgh. Pit stop there, no pun intended, after being in Tulsa. And he'll take over. He had a meeting with the players. Quick meeting with Erickson, Dennis said, and word is he's going to lay down some rules, more restrictions on things like jewelry.
Dancing on the field before the game.
Marshall tries to cut it back, but again, great penetration up front by Shea McClellan. One of the seniors who make it so tough to run on this group.
It's not just how physical these guys are, it's how they run to the football. I mean, you have experience up front. Billy Wynn in the middle, Chase Baker in the middle, Tyrone Crawford on one side, Shea McClellan on the other. And this group sets the tone for the defense. But Chris, you and I are looking at some tape, even talking about it today. How fast they run to the football and the effort that they play with is what makes these coaches so happy.
They rush only 4 on 3rd and 7. Osweiler gets it out, almost picked off and then almost caught by Pflugrad. That was Hightower, the true freshman, defending. But the Broncos, who forced more 3 and outs than any defense in the country, do so again.
Boy, he really did a good job on jumping this route. Again, Lee Hightower has been active so far in the first few series. He's a true freshman. He was physical in run support. This time he reads the route, almost gets around Pflugrad to be able to make the interception, sitting back in zone. He's sitting back in zone and comes up quickly by reading the route of Pflugrad and almost stepped in front of that for a touchdown.
Josh Hubner in his end zone. Mitch Burrows waiting, calling for a fair catch at his 45-yard line. So Peterson chooses to play field position, gets the 3 and out, and Moore will take over at his 45. Todd Graham, passing offense, known for that. Wasn't a completely successful year at Pitt, but after a very interesting search, when June Jones was offered the job, was taken back, they settled on Graham to lead this program.
Well, he has had some success, and they'll get an opportunity to take over a program with, a lot of people believe, a ton of potential with the resources and the location, able to recruit into the area of Tempe, and we'll see how he's able to do there.
This is Martin on the deep handoff. Finds room to the right. And picks up about 10. Paul Christ, by the way, named to replace Graham at Pittsburgh today, former offensive coordinator for Wisconsin.
And things are never pretty when you go from being the head coach in one position and you go to another. And I'm sure if Coach Graham had a chance to do it over, he probably would love to set the circumstances up a little bit differently.
This is Martin breaking a tackle, and Martin getting loose as the Broncos go up tempo and pick up chunks of yardage.
And the up-tempo, you see it a lot in college football. It stresses the defense. It gets the defense back on its heels. And when you go up against Kellen Moore, who's basically an offensive coordinator playing quarterback, not only is he quick to make calls, he's going to make good decisions, and he's going to be balanced here with the run and the pass.
Flip it out near side to Burrows. The sandwich of flag is down as Burrows did pick up yardage. Check and see if Clint Floyd was held there with Shoemaker out blocking on the edge.
Yeah, they threw it right at him, right in front of the official.
So rough start for Shoemaker, who had the drop. And now the penalty. ACC crew led by Dave Epperly.
Holding. Offense. Number 89. 10-yard penalty. Previous spot. Second out.
Shoemaker, the leading receiver, a guy who came in with Kellen Moore. Had to wait his turn while guys like Austin Pettis and Titus Young were the featured receivers, but he's had a very productive senior year.
Absolutely. 15 touchdown receptions on the year, new school record, and really has stepped up to become the leader of that group.
Moore across the middle to Burrows again, and they get back near the first down marker at the 33. Carr drives him out of bounds and an injury on the Arizona State defense. This is Carl Bradford, the defensive end. This is a defense that's just been racked by injuries. And already Junior Anyeli, the sophomore defensive end, left home for disciplinary reasons. Can't afford any more injuries.
No, they can't. And what they're facing right now, you know, it's beyond just what Kellen Moore brings to the table. It's the up-tempo, the ability to have an unbalanced attack. They show a ton of different formations. So here's a team that's lost 4 in a row. Their head coach has been fired. You wonder if they're fired up and ready to play. It's another thing to be prepared with Craig Bray as a defensive coordinator to get them to be dialed in to all these different tendencies and different keys that they're going to see. This is not just like preparing for any kind of offense. So with all the distractions, now they've got to get ready to face this kind of offense. It makes it very tough.
See Bradford sitting up now. You're right, though. Facing Moore can be so demoralizing because he can confuse the defense. He's so hard to get to. You can't really pressure him, and when you do, he just eats you alive. There is Craig Bray, one of the coaches on Erickson's staff, who's wondering about his future as a staff trying to prepare for a game, wondering where their next stop's going to be.
And you got two coaches that are coaching tonight who have already accepted positions to be a part of Jim Moore Jr.'s staff at UCLA.
Mazzoni was the play caller for Arizona State, and Steve Broussard, who was going to be brought in to help Moore, a recruit at Westwood. So first down, and play action. Moore flips it off in the flat. This is DJ Harper, and a good open field tackle made by Floyd. So a loss of about 3.
You and I have watched a lot of Boise State over the years, and since Kellen Moore has been a quarterback. One thing I've noticed this year about them is without Titus Young and Austin Pettis, what they do a lot of is they'll kind of lull you to sleep. They'll spread the ball around with some short, intermediate throws. They'll try to get those safeties out of position, and then they'll hit you with a double move, and they'll be able to hit you for the big play.
This is Doug Martin at the top of the formation, but Moore looks the other way. It's dropped just a little bit behind Burrows. But very catchable.
It was actually, and again, this is a big part of their offense, that backside fade where he throws it into a hole away from the safety. He is trying to time that up to give just his receiver a chance to make the play. You'll see that the safety's sitting there. If he leads him downfield, he's got a problem. And that's one that Kellen Moore, they practice that over and over and over and again. They've had a lot of success with that.
I don't see him show that degree of frustration that often. But that's a couple of drops in the early going. So 3rd and 12. Sun Devils show pressure, and they bring an extra man. And Moore does what he does so often when he faces the blitz. Find the open guy, and it's Mitch Burrows for a first down.
And when people are evaluating Kellen Moore to go to the next level, here's an example throwing it from the left hash, the college left hash, all the way to the right sideline, and he anticipates and throws the ball before his receiver even comes out of his break. Now, the thing that NFL scouts are going to look at is the arm strength. It's not quite the same kind of arm strength that you'll see from the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That ball had a little bit of an arc there.
This is Martin getting it back. And he is throwing into the wind this direction, although even with the wind, he's not going to have prototypical arm strength.
But what I love is in the way he anticipates. I mean, at the college level, there aren't a lot of guys that have that kind of chemistry between a quarterback and the wide receiver. And it's very interesting that he lost Austin Pettis and Titus Young, and he's been able to develop that same chemistry with a new group of wide receivers. He threw that, and his receiver's back of his helmet was facing Moore.
Moore looks to the end zone and has a man wide open, and it's Shoemaker. As the Sun Devils defense was confused by that 5-receiver formation, easy pickings.
That was, again, this is part of Boise State's offense. They like to mix up some things. They like to try to show you different personnel groupings. That time, and we'll take another look at it, but they moved their right tackle, Charles Leno Jr., out to the left as a wide receiver. I think it caused a little confusion. His wife is
Julie of the blonde hair.
Very excited.
Standing next to his dad, coach in high school. So Moore builds the lead, 14-0. Adversity for Osweiler and company.
Chris, watch Eddie Elder, the safety here for Arizona State. What he's recognizing is that Boise State is unbalanced. You have a tight end who's lined up as a tackle, but he's an eligible wide receiver. That's going to occupy the safety and give Efall a chance to get away from the safety. See how he's trying to communicate unbalanced? He's eligible, creates a lot of attention, and it opens up to the outside for a touchdown.
But old Alden Darby didn't get the message because he let him run right past him. He thought he had some safety help, but there was nobody there, Kirk.
Exactly.
Part of the fun of watching Boise State football. They will trick you in lots of different ways.
They sure will.
Now, a real challenge for the Sun Devils, who were talking a good game about being motivated, but now find themselves down a couple of touchdowns. This is Middlebrooks. Hesitation, they try to rip the ball out, but they'll take over at the 23rd. Back to Wendy Nix in the studio.
Chris, thank you. Sports Center right now. Colts owner Jim Irsay says if Peyton Manning plays football next season, it will be in Indianapolis. Irsay also said, though, the Colts would take Manning's successor in the draft if the right quarterback is available. And USC quarterback Matt Barkley announcing today he will return for his senior season. Barkley says there's unfinished business, and he intends to play a part in it. Chris?
Wendy, thank you. It was a newsy day in college football. We'll have our take on Barkley's announcement today. In the meantime, the Sun Devils, well, an all too familiar lack of discipline, a personal foul after the return backs them up again to bad field position.
Most penalized team in the country drops, 14 quick points here to Boise State. And you wonder where their mindset's going to be. They're going to have to fight out of a hole and show a lot of courage and a lot of unity here to be able to get back into this game against a really, really talented team. Here's another penalty.
Broncos dancing around at the defensive line, and it'll cost them 5 more.
Offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty.
Now, this was my concern coming into this game. It's not about the physical ability. If you look at these two teams on paper, Dennis Erickson has put together a team. You can see the frustration there on his face. Put together a team that has talent, physical talent, but you have to bring that talent together and have cohesion. Another move.
Did it again?
Right tackle.
Well, each tackle now.
Everybody's taking a turn.
They can't go back much farther.
False start. Offense, number 69, half a distance to the goal, first down.
So 3 penalties in 3 successive plays.
And you talked about it, Chris. Look at all the pre-snap movement. They're jumping around. I mean, and I think the movement, the confusion is getting, you can see Arizona State, they're getting back in pass protection because they're jumping the gun a little bit on where the pressure might be coming from.
Osweiler sets up in his end zone. 1st and 20. Takes a shot downfield, and it's over the head of Mike Willie.
See, that's their game, throwing the ball downfield to Willie and Robinson. What they miss is Jamal Miles being able to stretch a defense from sideline to sideline. They want to attack you with the running game, attack you wide, make you pay attention to that, and then throw the ball downfield. Right now, they're not having any success with the horizontal aspect of their offense at all to open up some of those stretch plays downfield.
Broncos have been vulnerable against a couple of teams this year to their downfield moves. TCU ate them alive with those plays in the lone Boise State loss.
They had some injuries in the back end. They gave up 473 yards passing to TCU, and the very next week, 350 to San Diego State.
Billy Wynn, the Las Vegas native, licking his chops in the D-line, but they swing it to Middlebrooks. That's the play that you're talking about.
Exactly, Chris. And it's just to get it out wide to be able to come up with some, just make the defense pay attention. And Jamal Miles this year was very, very effective in this area and very versatile. You can see what he did, not just in special teams, but running the football, catching the ball. And they are going to miss him tonight. We'll see tonight if A.J. Pickens and Kyle Middlebrooks can pick up that role. It's a big 3rd down.
Osweiler flushed. Fires over the middle. Pflugrad had his hand on it. Once again, it's Hightower defending. And another 3 and out.
Love the look of Lee Hightower as a true freshman. His future, they tell us, is its safety. But because of injuries at corner, that has forced him to put a true freshman safety out at corner. And he's really held his own, not just tonight, but late in the year. Really has grown up a lot.
I want to add that the coaching staff is very high on Jamal Miles. It's not academics. There's no suspension, no disciplinary situation at all. Just a personal situation that he has to handle back home. But the absence certainly being felt. Already the 3rd punt for Hubner, and again, he's backed up in his end zone. It's a high boot with the wind, and a fair catch taken, and now Moore will start up 14 in plus territory.
The penalty, 3 penalties, put Arizona State in such a hole, and now it affects field position.
Well, ESPN's new football game, you're the most explosive player in the field, the return man. Hit the gap, break tackles, Kirk, and take it to the house. Play for free at ESPNReturnman.com.
I'm all over that.
Are you? Okay. Now, Moore has been all over this vulnerable Arizona State secondary that in the 4-game losing streak's been torched for about 330 a game through the air.
And he's 7 of 9 for 95 yards and a touchdown. And the 2 misses that he's had really could have been caught.
Mark hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss is just overpowering the blocker.
Nice
to
job.
see Bradford, who was down earlier, back in the game.
To see him back in and able to attack the Boise State defense. Comes from the bottom right here. Just gets his, nobody picks him up. The tight end is trying to come around to pick up the block, but he's a little bit late.
Moore working the middle. Off the hands of Shoemaker and intercepted by Clint Floyd. And Floyd comes up with exactly what the Sun Devil defense needed, their 30th takeaway of the season.
The second time we've seen Shoemaker, who is his go-to man, open and drop a ball. This time the result is a turnover for Arizona State, and maybe the Sun Devils get the break that they need to get back into this game. But Kellen Moore is in rhythm, makes a great read, puts the ball where it needs to be, maybe a bit behind Shoemaker, but he makes that catch 10 times out of 10.
And Floyd there to clean up, makes his 4th pick of the season. He's a second-team All-Pac-12 DB. Osweiler on the pump fake. Has a man wide open, but is dropped. A short gain. McClellan grabbed him, and running down the field was Rashad Ross, wide open.
Well, this is the kind of plays they must have studied Gary Patterson at TCU, because it's a double move. And that's the play that really caused them fits. Ross is right here. He's going to go there and then downfield. I've been bragging about Lee Hightower all night. This time he bites on the slant and he goes downfield. An easy play, and unfortunately for Arizona State, Osweiler didn't see him.
The Broncos with 4 men got pressure that time. This is Ross trying to escape traffic, brought down near midfield. It'll be close to a first down. Get very few opportunities like that in a game, though.
Yeah, and this time they went right back to it. Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, probably got a message down and told Brock Osweiler, hey, let's try to get the ball thrown to the outside to Ross, who's matched up there. There's Noel Mazzoni in the glasses.
Again, off to UCLA to work for Jim Moore. He's been everywhere. He's been in 3 different SEC schools, NC State, Minnesota. I'm probably missing a couple. Osweiler on first down, fires into traffic. That was a bullet. Just went right by George Bell.
Looks like they may have a late flag coming in there. Pass interference. Might have been Hunter White. There's a little bit of contact there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Ball will be placed at Spotler foul.
See the zip on that ball from Osweiler?
Yeah, you might want to take a little off there.
Fastball. I don't know if Bell has a chance. You better hit him right in the numbers if you're going to bring it that up.
Get in the way of it. The only chance you have to catch that.
So the penalty moves the ball to the 47. Arizona State trying desperately to convert the takeaway into points. Climb back in this game. Osweiler threw it well behind Ross that time.
It's the 3rd time they've tried to get the ball off to the right here with Ross matched up against Lee Hightower. So maybe they feel that Hightower could be, being a young player, maybe a player that they can try to attack. But he has played pretty well up to this point, other than biting on that quick slant, or that slant and go that they were unable to successfully locate.
Hightower, a guy who started the last couple of games this season. Good throw in the flat. Jarrell Robinson finally makes his first catch. He's the guy that has 64 receptions this year, top receiver for the Sun Devils.
He's got great size, 6'4", 222 pounds. As you said, over 1,000 yards receiving. It's amazing some of the offensive numbers. You look at this football team and you think their coach got fired?
How could this be a 6-6 team when you look at the tape and check the stats on offense?
I know.
You need 3 on 3rd down. Bad snap. The big guy has to track it down. He retains possession, but it blows up the drive.
Can another miscue for this Arizona State team. And if you're wondering how they lost their last 4 in a row, you're kind of seeing it right before your eyes. They've got ability to make plays, and I don't know if
that's on the quarterback.
No, I don't know if he just wasn't ready for it, if it slipped through his hands. The ball is definitely catchable. It's a good snap by Gerhardt. But they looked like they had a little bit of momentum there, a little bit of rhythm there to that drive, and now they're all the way back into their territory again.
They lose 21 yards, and Hubner's 4th punt. This is a bomb. It'll be a touchback. He got that one up into the wind. Let's go field side to Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Chris, you know, interesting to see how different players react to different situations. 2 situations quickly with Brock Osweiler. Comes off the field immediately just then and said, that's on me, guys. I just missed the ball. I flat out missed the ball. previously, after the second score by Boise State, immediately turning around, jumping up and down, trying to talk to the guys up and down his bench, trying to keep them motivated, in focus, not giving up, talking them up, chatting them up immediately. Obviously, he's going to have to try to keep them motivated here, depending on what Kellen Moore is able to build. Chris.
Moore back to work, and Osweiler really praised by the coaches. They love his leadership, the intangibles that he brings besides the obvious physical gifts. A fake by Moore, who flips it off to Shoemaker, who holds on to this one and slips a tackle. Picks up about 9.
Good to see Shoemaker get a catch there. I like how Kellen Moore went right back to him after the ball that went through his hands for the interception.
We knew that Arizona State was going to have to score some points to stay in this game because Boise figures to keep this trend up. Vontaze Burfict has been in the game the last couple of snaps. The tempestuous linebacker for the Sun Devils. He's number 7, right in the middle. Didn't figure to play much with the Sun Devils in nickel a lot of the time.
One thing about Burfict, when he comes in, he's known for some of his late hits. And one of the first plays he's involved with, close to being a late hit on the sideline.
End of the quarter, Broncos up by 2 touchdowns. Beautiful winter's night here in Las Vegas. Boise State back here for a second straight year, and so far after a quarter, Kirk, looks like a second consecutive convincing win for the Broncos. We'll have the ball back off a couple of touchdowns. 2nd and 1 as we begin quarter number 2. Martin has a first down and more.
Doug Martin, the ball carrier.
He began this game with a kickoff return for a touchdown, and Vontaze Burfict began it on the sidelines.
Yeah, he better keep an eye out for number 7 now that he's back in the lineup. This after that interception, he lowers the boom on Shoemaker, and then of course the hit on Shoemaker close to being out of bounds. But right now Kellen Moore going up tempo against this Arizona State defense.
This is Martin, slips a tackle, but Martin almost went. Alden Darby saved a touchdown. You can see the explosiveness of Martin when his legs are feeling fresh as they are tonight.
Absolutely, Chris, and also the vision there that time to find the cutback, kind of that jump cut back to the right. And if you're not gap sound against Doug Martin, he's going to make you pay for it.
7 carries already for Martin, 40 yards to go with the 100-yard kickoff return. Moore on the first down, looks for his brother, and the catch is made by Kirby Moore.
Just like in the backyard, right? Growing up, you kind of asked him this week, you know, kid, Dad's happy.
Yeah, they've only connected once all year for a touchdown, brother to brother.
You said
it's the last chance.
It's your last chance. He takes a hit here, nothing late, and makes a nice throw despite the pressure. And if he's going to have timing and rhythm with anybody, it's going to be with his brother, Kirby.
The pistol formation, Martin gets the handoff again, has a big hole, and the tough running of Doug Martin inside the 10.
Well, when he gets to the second level untouched, with his low center of gravity and the acceleration that he has, he's a safety's worst nightmare. Nobody touches him, and he's going to go through those arm tackles. You better square up on him if you have any chance of bringing Doug Martin down.
He had an ankle injury, did not play in the lone loss of the season to TCU, and since then has been on fire. So 1st and goal. Chance to further deflate Arizona State. This is Martin. Still on his feet, inside the 5. You really like this kid.
I love him. I've loved him for like the last 3 years. He's 5'9", he's 208 pounds. I just love these little backs that have that low center of gravity. Look at his legs.
Perfect went for the ankles and missed.
Yeah, you better have good technique, and you better gang tackle if you have any chance of bringing him down. And what's great for Boise State about Martin getting these yards, all it's doing is setting up the play action and the throwing of Kellen Moore eventually.
This is Martin again. And straight ahead. He's really played his whole career in the considerable shadow of Kellen Moore, underappreciated for that reason, because it's thought of as a passing offense.
Absolutely. And right now it looks like Boise State just trying to challenge the will of Arizona State, a team that's lost 4 straight. They're down 14 right now.
Good idea, I think.
Absolutely.
Because that is very much a question right now.
But I mean, they're running the football.
Already 51 yards for Martin on this drive. 3rd and goal. Moore to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Back shoulder by the freshman, Matt Miller. What a year he's had, breaking all the Broncos freshman receiving records.
Well,
there's a flag. Let's check that. Broncos feel like it's going to stand.
pretty much sums it up.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanship like conduct. On the defense, number 7. That 15-yard penalty.
That's your guy perfect with 15 yards after the touchdown. Personal fouls have been part of his career, along with good productivity, but that's been the flip side.
That's why he's been on the bench. We'll see if he goes back to the bench.
Forcina for the extra point. Second touchdown pass for Kellen Moore. A 21-0 lead. Great year for Miller. He's had some circus catches. Caught a Hail Mary against Wyoming. This one pretty easy. And frustrations continue for Arizona State. In particular, Vontaze Burfict, who got an unsportsmanlike penalty after the Moore to Miller touchdown pass. It's what he said to Shoemaker after the play, we think, Kirk.
Shoemaker just coming into the middle there. Altercation right there. I mean,
Burfict kind of grabbed him in the play.
There's not a flag. I think it's
right
something he said.
Yep, there's the official reaching for the flag. Shoemaker jawing right back at him. We'll see if Dennis Erickson, Craig Webb had enough. Number 7 tonight. The 15-yard penalty, they kick it off and boot it right through the end zone.
They had so much success running the football on that last drive. You know, they went 80 yards, 8 plays, just beautiful drive. But it creates one-on-one opportunities when you run the football. And this is a play, again, we talked about it earlier. Boise State literally could do this play in their sleep. And it's a most challenging play for a defensive back out on an island, a corner, to deal with the backside fade. And the back shoulder fade is something that they practice over and over and over, and it makes it tough. But when you run the football, you leave those corners isolated against the receivers, and Kellen Moore going to make a great throw almost every time.
His 3 incompletions have all hit receivers' hands tonight, by the way. This is Marshall just trying to get something going, but you really can't run wide very well on Boise State. Nobody has all year.
No, I mean, their defensive line will start to really challenge Arizona State in the mindset. You're down 21, you've lost 4 in a row, the coach has been fired. How you feeling right now? Because the team in blue is not gonna let up. If anything, they're gonna push even harder.
They get a mean streak, don't they? This defensive line loves to punish and pile on.
They love playing with each other, too.
Osweiler on play action, takes a shot over the middle. Had a man open, but it's almost intercepted by big old Byron Hout, stout linebacker who's a little gimpy.
They almost made a big play there. The ball was thrown from behind, but we've talked so much about this defensive line. You said seniors across the board. Here, let's go. Last one right here, son.
Jarrell Root's kind of the character. Crawford, the Canadian there. See Billy Wynn in the middle. He's a Vegas native. McClellan, the silent guy, he said he's made about 2 speeches in his entire career. And it's 3rd and long for Osweiler over the middle. It's caught, but short of the first down is Robinson.
Yeah, there were some NFL folks on the sideline during warm-ups I had a chance to talk to, and they said, a lot of people talk about Boise State being scrappy and overachieving. He said, there's 8 or 9, maybe 10 guys that are going to be in NFL camps next year. Probably 3 or 4 of them off the defensive line.
They're going to go for it here, Kirk, on 4th and 1. Desperation time. Up. Second thoughts as they bring on the punt team.
They better think about that one.
Really? Down 3 touchdowns? What do you got to lose? Gonna give the ball back, you be down 4 touchdowns the next time you get it.
Well, that's true. Might as well just try to keep the ball away from 11 and blue.
Josh Hubner's been busy, his 5th punt. This one is high and against the wind, not very far. Ooh, careful, just trying to get away from it was Potter at the last minute. And once again, great field position for old number 11 in Vegas.
ESPN College Football, the Maaco Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Las Vegas. Ring in 2012 in Las Vegas. Enjoy fireworks, dining, nightlife, and more. Only Vegas. Macy's. And American Airlines. Traveled over 250 cities in 40 countries on American Airlines.
Coaches in the arms of showgirls, part of the Outback Buffet Bowl, Fremont Sea Experience, the pie eating contest. Toa Tuatea of ASU took that. Doug Martin on the left there showing the moves on the dance floor on the contest. Showing the moves tonight, that's
sure is.
Broncos been ripping off big chunks of yardage on first down, as you see, and more on play action. Rolls out, takes a shot into double coverage, and overthrows. Man. Dallas Burrows was the freshman.
Actually, really good discipline there by Arizona State with the success that Martin's had running the football. We knew it was coming eventually, that play action, deep ball downfield. Safeties this time get back and in position. Eddie Elder, good job of taking away any chance at all of making a potential catch there by Burrows.
Second down. High pass is collected by Kyle Efa, the tight end. Picks up about 4.
Kyle Efa. Pick up a 5. The Elder covering on the play. Third down. Third and 5.
Third down.
46-yard line.
About 5. And Martin caught up in traffic as the ball flipped over his head. Jamar Jarrett, the defensive end, was in coverage there, nowhere to go for more.
That time they get him to third down. You got a chance. They brought a blitz with Oliver Aaron, and nobody picked him up. It forced him to get the football off a little bit quicker than I think he was ready to, and Martin just didn't have a chance at all. And that zone pressure there, the defensive end dropped in coverage, and Jarrett just was there all over Doug Martin.
Brad Elkin finally gets to do some work. First punt of the night for Boise State. Pflugrad again filling in for Jamal Miles as the returner is back deep. Low punt. A chance for a return, and once again poor field position for Osweiler. A frustrated night so far for the big fella. His team down 3 scores. Nightmarish start for the Sun Devils, who limped in on a 4-game skid, and trying to say the right things about being motivated and emotional and wanting to send out Dennis Erickson. But Dennis even admitted, Kirk, there's no such thing as a win one for the Gipper anymore. That just is rarely happens in college football, and it has not been an inspired effort so far tonight.
No, I want to go back to the last punt, and I want to watch a nice block here by Anthony Jones. Watch what he does against Hunter White. Just a nice shot. You know, that's legal play. Watch what he does after the block. Here's a team that's lost 4 in a row. They're down 21 in a bowl game, and he's going to talk trash.
Osweiler over the middle, and Jarrell Robinson collects it and has a first down. So he blindsided a guy too. There was no particular skill in the block.
And if you're Todd Graham, I hope he's taking mental notes. And that's the first thing he should put at number 1. Clean it up. If this team wants to win games, you've got to clean the program up and start competing as a group. Less trash talking, more play.
You say clean it up, you mean just
There's no
discipline?
need for that. I mean, you've lost 4 in a row. You're getting embarrassed. You're down 21. You have a block that's questionable. And you're going to come over and you're going to talk trash to Hunter White because you happen to get a good block. How about helping a guy up and telling him, I'll see you next play? You're down 21.
Yeah, check the scoreboard.
What are you thinking?
They really can't get Cameron Marshall going. No success on the ground at all for the Sun Devils. Osweiler middle again, high off the hand of Robinson.
Pass intended for Robinson, incomplete.
That was a tough, tight window there, and Aaron Tevis gets his hand on that football and knocks it away. Really good effort by the middle linebacker. And what you can't see there is Tevis knocking that football away because he had position there on Iloka. It was a tight window, and Tevis is able to make the play.
Dennis looking cold and grumpy. Another third down. They need 8 this time. Osweiler fires high again, and Robinson a second catch for a first down, and he's inside Boise State territory.
Uses his body here, and it's getting a little chippy out there. Officials are going to have to take control of this. 6'4", 222 pounds, keeps the defender away from the football, uses that big body, and then afterwards, Favis doesn't let go, and Robinson not very happy about it.
Coming off a monster game against Arizona, had 11 catches for almost 200 yards. This is Middlebrooks on the swing pass, and a promising drive for the Sun Devils. And a flag after the play along the sidelines. Lee Hightower was involved with a couple of Arizona State players.
Personal foul. Offense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, first down.
There's exhibit 12, and exactly what you're talking about. Mike Willie, the receiver, penalized, and after a big gain, they march back.
You got to keep your cool. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised when you lose your cool. And you know, it's caught up to them throughout this whole year. And drives him out of bounds. It's a good effort. Whistle's already blown, and he's still driving him over the bench. Really a good run that time by Middlebrooks. He set that block up very, very well, and they looked like they had another big gain, only to have another setback.
Osweiler looking down the sidelines, and now flags fly as Willie was knocked down.
They got interference here on Taylor.
You're right, this is get chippy.
It is. It is. Willie and Robinson both starting to try to.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And both his receivers, Kirk, 6'4", 220 pounds. And they're trying to, as you see Jamar Taylor with a smile, trying to impose their physical style.
He's 5'11", going up against receivers that are 6'4". He's the physical corner. But downfield, you can't lock up with a receiver like that. Ball's in the air. Easy call for the official, who's standing right there.
First and 10 for Arizona State.
Ball to 32 after the penalty. Maaco's rush 3, drop 8, and the ball flipped across the middle. The Bell. Pads pop on the tackle by J.C. Percy. It's a first down.
And another big receiver, George Bell, who doesn't have the numbers, but he's 6'3", and over 200 pounds. You put those three together, and that's a handful for this secondary. The key is being able to finish the drive. 60 yards here, 5 first downs, but can they get points? Can they get a touchdown here to stop the bleeding?
Marshall. That's his best run of the night. Picks up about 4.
It's the first time they've gotten down into the red zone.
It's an effective red zone offense, Kirk. I mean, 34 touchdowns in their 55 red zone trips. That's a very impressive percentage.
But late in the year, it became a little bit of a problem for him.
Everything became a problem for him late in the year.
You're right about that.
This is Marshall. Hesitated just a bit. Hammers forward for a couple before Percy stopped him. Figure they got a couple plays to get these 3 yards. They're not kicking a field goal for Dennis at this point.
They're going to have to. And these big receivers are a dangerous matchup for Boise State's undersized defensive backs. They get matched up one-on-one. He'll try to find him in the end zone.
Marshall and Middlebrooks flanking Osweiler. Ross comes in motion. They look far side, fade, and it's way overthrown. Robinson was well covered. No chance for a play there, and it's 4th down.
He had the matchup that he wanted, but that was great coverage. And the difference is the safety, George Aloka, gets matched up. See the difference in size there?
He's a strong guy,
Aloka's 6'3", 213 pounds. A little bit different than going up against Lee Hightower or going up against Jamar Taylor.
I checked that. They are going to kick a field goal on 4th and 3, down 21 points. Here comes Alex Garut.
Just wants some points.
He's been up and down this year, down in the losing streak. Missed 3 against UCLA. Crucial misses. This one from 32 to try to get the Sun Devils on the board. Okay. Chipping away. They had a lot more chipping to do. Really needed 7, not 3 out of that drive. And it looks Garut getting the Sun Devils on the board, and we're celebrating our 7th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, more than $2.6 million in scholarship money has been contributed. Well, on the side of the hospitality tent, down there in the end zone, they watched the field goal chop the lead to 18. It was a 66-yard drive. Great plays. They survive a personal foul, get down to the red zone, but
let's see if
the lack of a running game is crushed.
Let's see if they can cover a kickoff here. The last time we saw Doug Martin, he went 100 yards.
This time Martin at his 4. Well, they lay a shot on him, but he just bounces off and gets it to the 29. ESPN 2 Monday. Capital One Bowl week continues with the Andrew Kerr V100 Independence Bowl. North Carolina with Everett Withers, who's off to Columbus to be a part of Urban Meyer's Buckeye staff. Facing on James Franklin and Missouri, 5 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN 2. Larry Fedora taking over, going from Southern Miss to take over Tar Heels program.
A lot of changes, not just at the top, but a lot of the coordinators are moving around and finishing off their obligations.
8 interim coaches and 2 games, and guys like Erickson and Withers finishing it out. There's Martin. And it bounces straight ahead.
The ball carrier.
Arizona State defense, Colin Parker, one of the leaders there, trying to get some kind of spark, make a play.
And he got underneath the block there, and he is a guy that they've been able to actually turn to for leadership. When this defense lost Brandon McGee in the preseason, I think it really impacted not just the whole defense, but in particular Vontez Burfict and the linebacker group. But Parker has been an anchor this year and a guy that they can, a very, very reliable guy.
Well, on 2nd down, zips it in traffic, catch made. You know, Parker is a guy that has felt the pain of this losing streak as much as anybody. It's Shoemaker with the catch. His dad, Anthony, was a Sun Devil player, played 100 games in the NFL. In fact, he missed Colin's birth by 15 minutes as he was coming back from his NFL minicamp. But this guy has, like Osweiler on the offensive side, just tried to desperately keep his teammates going, keep them up, keep them believing, but it's been an uphill fight.
Yeah, he's been the leader. He's been the guy that's, as this ship has begun to go down, he's tried to stay positive and try to get guys to rally around him.
Martin hammers ahead. Jamar Jarrett stopped him after a 4-yard gain.
You think about Boise State and the debate every year whether or not they're a BCS Bowl type of team or worthy type of team or not. And I really felt the last couple of years they deserve serious consideration. It's not just because of Kellen Moore, the guys you always talk about. It's because of what they have up front on both sides, the offensive line and the defensive line. We're seeing that again tonight.
Martin comes in motion into the backfield. Still 3 receivers bunched to the right, but he flips it across the left to Efa, the tight end. And that ball distribution, do you think he knew before the snap where he was going that time?
Well, he always does. I mean, he's able to get a pre-snap read.
You say that like it's no big deal.
For him, it is no big deal. I mean, he gets a pre-snap read, and he literally knows what to do with the football before he's, well, based on the pre-snap read. Now, he might get a different coverage. They might be disguising. He's able to adjust. He processes the information so quickly. He's hit 8 different receivers tonight And the other thing about his abilities, Chris, is the pocket presence and the way he just sits back there so comfortable.
Here's the reverse. And the pass coming. It's the other Moore showing why he's not the quarterback in the family. Come on. Kirby came around, and Kellen's going to have a word with his little brother there. That was not a textbook throw. His dad's
saying, yeah, I know you're a receiver.
That's why we
but,
put him at receiver.
but come on. We used to throw the
even with
ball
those gloves on,
back
you got to
home.
do better than that.
Yeah.
He takes a bump late. He felt the pressure.
Yeah, I think he felt the pressure. How about Carr? If Carr sees that a little earlier, not only does he intercept that, he is gone.
Burrow's open. If the ball's delivered. Here's the right Moore, the lefty delivers, and that's what Little Brothers does. He does better. He catches the ball. It's a first down, and Dad's
shake it off.
That's what we do. That's how Big Brother throws to Little Brother. That's how it's supposed to be.
The timing is there, but yeah, way to shake that one off. He just wanted to get the ball in his hands again, try to rebound from that effort. He will never live that one down back home, by the way.
He was kind of sheepish as he ran off the field.
He gets a first down. He's like, I'm going to go back here and hide for a little bit.
Kellen hands it off to Martin. Martin again waits for his blockers, breaks in the clear and almost busts it before a saving tackle by Johnson. 13 more.
Well, great job on this draw, getting downfield by the offensive line and the acceleration. Look at these guys get downfield. Are you kidding me? I mean, Efall gets involved there. You also see Mitch Burrows, but the way he's able to recognize and then accelerate upfield to go along with his power, he just makes him a handful.
Talked about his vision and his patience. What kind of a prospect is Martin at the next level?
How many running backs do you see in the NFL that have his size? I mean, look at Ray Rice and what he's done at Baltimore. Maurice Jones-Drew, what he's done at Jacksonville. There are a lot of undersized backs that have powerful lower bodies.
Pump fake for Moore. Looks for the end zone. Threw it behind the receiver. It was off the hands of Dallas Burrows. But again, Kellen hitting a receiver in the hands. Top pro prospect on this Boise State team for sure is Nate Potter, the left tackle, who's a first-team All-American and also an academic All-American.
You see Martin, they're potentially a fourth
What do you think
rounder.
about sixth round for Moore?
You know, I think it'll depend really on his workouts. Everybody's questioning his size, his arm strength. His workouts will be big for him.
There's a rare snap under center for Moore, which you'll have to do obviously at the next level to hand off to Moore, who's dropped for
That's
a
the
loss.
other thing. When he does his personal workout, a lot of people are speculating about 6th round, 7th round free agent, whatever it might be. How is he going to throw when he's under center? In the NFL, there's so many different drops. You have to drop the 3-step, 5-step, 7-step. A lot of times you take without a hitch, you're throwing the football, and you're making reads while you do it. And we've seen a lot of college quarterbacks who run some version of a spread who try to adjust to the NFL game, and the drops are one of the things that really impacts them the most, getting used to the drops.
13 Moore eludes pressure as he does so well, flips it off short of the first down as Efall, Darby made a tackle, but there's that pocket presence, the instinct to dodge the rusher, stay alive.
And this comes with experience. This is something that he's really worked on. He said he studied Drew Brees a lot, being undersized, just a little movement in the pocket, buys himself a little bit of time, and then the accuracy after the movement to reset his feet. It's textbook.
Broncos try to add to the lead before halftime. It's 4th down. Come back. They'll go for it on 4th down, already up 21-3. Boise State just doing what they do. Kirk showing up focused, prepared, ready, disciplined. This has been the hallmark throughout 4 years for this group of seniors. More connection made. Miller, and it's a 1st and goal. Miller, an impressive 6'3", freshman out of Helena, Montana.
Chris, watch how they motion Miller out to get him. He says he sees a matchup that he wants. He says just get out there a little bit wider, and then it creates the spacing that he needs to be able to hit that quick slant there on 4th down for a 1st down.
Grant Hedrick is at quarterback now. They've got more out of there. And he was the backup quarterback. Under center on 1st and goal. They flip it out. It's a trick play and an easy touchdown. That's how it's supposed to happen as Miller finds Efa. Not fair.
It's just not fair. And you knew an option was coming in. When Hedrick comes in, they're going to run an option, and Arizona State ran to the option. Miller this time could have, if he wanted to, maybe he just wanted some stats. He could have walked into the end zone for a touchdown. Instead, just kind of like a little shortstop, a little flip there, the wrist, and an easy touchdown pass.
He almost short-armed it. It's more fun to throw for a touchdown, isn't it, than run for it if you're a receiver?
It's like he was in practice. You see that he's just kind of flipped it.
And Fresina tacks on the point. 28-3. All smiles and chuckles on the Broncos sideline as we send it back to Wendy.
Chris, thank you. Coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, we'll talk about Matt Barkley's decision to return to USC. What does Oregon and the U.S. Air Force have in common? And we'll talk Cats with Les Miles. It's all coming up on the H&R Block halftime report. See you then.
All right, thank you. Well, just a nightmare from the first 14 seconds of the game when Martin put the Sun Devils in an early hole. It's been downhill. Hey, NBA basketball on Christmas Day, and it begins at noon Eastern time with the Celtics and the next couple games on ABC. Bulls and Lakers as Lakers try to get Kobe Bryant healthy. And Magic and Thunder 8 o'clock, and it wraps up with Clips and the Warriors at 10:30 Eastern time. Sort of take for granted Boise State's sustained excellence, and it looks very much like Kellen Moore is going to collect win number 50 in his career, record that really will never be broken in college football as the kickoff is finally collected down there by Ross. And Rashad Ross tries to get the corner. Now he'll come back this way. Gets a couple of blocks. He's going to try to get both corners, and Ross finally at the 30-yard line is dropped. Now we would take for granted the excellence. I think maybe the pollsters take for granted, the Heisman voters take for granted what they've done, but a guy would have to average 12.5 wins per year over 4 years just to equal Kellen Moore's record if he wraps up number 50.
Say that again. 4-year starter, averaged 12.5 wins for 4 years. That's almost up there with Pete Rose's all-time hit leader. I mean,
unbreakable.
I don't think that'll ever go down.
Osweiler to Middlebrooks as they try to break a long one here just before halftime, and a flag comes out.
Holding.
Why not?
Offense, number 8.
6.
10-yard penalty from spot of foul.
Terrell Robinson, the receiver. It's been a problem throughout the year. Even heightened during the 4-game losing streak. Self-destruction hasn't really been the #1 theme tonight. Boise State's just a lot better team, but the Sun Devils have contributed to their 25-point hole here. Osweiler to Robinson.
Just goes to show you how much mindset can impact a team. This team beat USC.
By 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. This team beat USC.
Seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Light years.
All right, Kellen Moore trots off. The Broncos in complete control of 25 as we go back to Wendy Nix for the H&R Block halftime report. Wendy?
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome back to Maaco Bowl, Las Vegas, part of Capital One Bowl Week. These Broncos fans watched their team beat Utah down a year ago. They would have preferred to be, frankly, in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. They really felt like with Moore and this group of seniors going out in the BCS Bowl was something that they had earned. Saw Chris Peterson, Kirk make his angry comments, but they arrived here not in a moping mood, and clearly wanting to prove a point.
Well, one team you always know is going to show up with the right mindset is Boise State. We wondered where Arizona State would be, but the opening kickoff set the tone. Doug Martin takes it back 100 yards, and for Arizona State, they dug themselves a hole, and it's been tough for them to really get back into this game. We'll see if the second half things change.
First ever career kickoff return for Martin, who also was an effective runner. You've seen the typical Broncos trickeration as well.
Yeah.
Moore has been super efficient in his final college game. And it's been a frustrating evening for big Brock Osweiler in the Sun Devils offense. This is Rashad Ross dancing around, trying to give his team field position. And it's Ross. Both halves beginning with a kickoff return for a touchdown. No flags. And finally, ASU finds the end zone. Watch a lot of football games and never see that.
No, you won't. You're right. You're right. Start the game, start the second half. You talk about with Dennis Erickson. He's saying that's just what we talked about at halftime. It set the tone early in the second half. And Rashad Ross, I'll tell you what, Chris, talk about some speed. I mean, once he got out into the open field, there wasn't anybody from Boise State that had a chance to catch up to Rashad Ross.
Not bad for a guy as a fill-in kickoff returner with Jamal Miles again not here for the Sun Devils.
Pointer after is good. 14.
So they won the toss and deferred. This shows you they should have taken the ball.
Yeah.
Begin the game. Very different.
Watch how he maneuvers his way through and sets these blocks up. Great job of just executing the kickoff return by the entire unit from Arizona State. And right there from about the 45 on, there's nobody going to catch him.
Ross is a guy that came from a junior college and has tremendous speed, as you said. Didn't really make an impact until the last few games of the season, and the coaches were regretting that. They wish they had worked him in sooner, and you see why. He's got a chance to be a featured guy next year for us.
Yeah, and they threw the football to him tonight, too. I mean, this has been a game where I think the coaches have shown him a chance to kind of show what he can do in this offense, and there in special teams he has a big impact. But you guys got this offense has Robinson, they've got Willie, they've got Flugrad, kind of a tough unit to be able to break into.
He only had 2 catches the first half of the season, Ross, but 9 in the last couple of games. So we'll see if that little spark can get the Sun Devils defense going.
I mean, it's really going to be about Arizona State trying to get Kellen Moore into some third and long situations. The few times they've been able to get Kellen Moore off the field and bring the punter out is when they've gotten him to 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 8, and they're getting a little bit of pressure on him.
This time they just try the onside kick, and Boise State not fooled, and it'll be Kellen Moore taking over in plus territory. First half stats brought to you by American Airlines, and 0 running game. In fact, less than 0 for the Sun Devils on the ground.
And you have got to be able to run the football at least a little bit against this Boise State front. You can see the penalties, something that's bothered Arizona State all year, 6 in just the first half alone. But they set the tone just the way they want with the opening kickoff here in the second half, 98 yards and a touchdown. Now we'll see if this defense, Chris, as you said, they get a little bit of a spark of energy from that return.
Moore under center, flips it back. It's a backwards pass, and Potter.
Complete, number 3, Chris Potter.
Let's go to Tom Rinaldi.
Thanks very much, Chris. Well, the message inside the Arizona State locker room was loud and clear. The coach is not allowing these players to accept the score on the scoreboard at halftime, challenging them. Who's going to make a play? Well, we certainly saw the response there. Talking with Coach Peterson on the way in Boise State, they're familiar with the situation, being up double digits. They've done it multiple times this season. They do a full reset, acting as though the game is 0-0, and playing from that mindset forward. Peterson also challenging his defense. He'd like to see more pressure on Brock Osweiler. Chris?
All right, Tom. Broncos have not been a great defense at pressuring the quarterback since the opener when they sacked Aaron Murray 6 times. That's been a little bit of a weakness.
Well, getting sacks and creating turnovers, something that they had more success early in the year than they had the latter part of the year. It's a nice play, and again, trying to get Doug Martin going here to set up Kellen Moore in the passing game.
Motion the tight end back into the backfield, and Moore hit as he throws flutters and picked off. Interception by Colin Parker, and the linebacker into Broncos territory. They got pressure on Moore that time and created the turnover. There's life from Arizona State.
It was a double move, but it was pressured by Will Sutton. And if Sutton doesn't get to Kellen Moore, I think it's another touchdown pass for Kellen Moore. It's a double move. The safety actually bites up right there, and he's got a touchdown. But Sutton gets in there, deflects the football, and there's the leader, Colin Parker, making the play that the Sun Devil defense needs. But give Will Sutton a big-time assist there on that turnover.
First pick of the year for Parker. It's Osweiler at the Broncos 45 on play action. He's pressured and dropped. Billy Wynn, a Las Vegas native, with a play.
Billy Wynn eventually gets in, but they brought the linebacker, the safety, Aloka, off the edge. This is something that's actually lined up in corner. They bring pressure, and nobody is there to pick it up. Not only that, you can see the hesitation there by Osweiler. He was lucky to keep the play alive. He turned his back there on the play action, and Aloka came in, was able to take him away.
You see Trevor Cole there, the tight end, confused who to pick up on that blitz. Loss of 5. 2nd and 15. Osweiler steps up, delivers over the middle, and making the catch in traffic is Robinson.
Great job of stepping up into the pocket by Osweiler. The starting right tackle, Dan Knapp, checked out the previous play, so Simmons, the backup right tackle, number 50, had to step in. And the first play he comes in, Tyrone Crawford put a lot of pressure on him, and it was a good job of observing that by Osweiler and stepping up into the pocket away from that pressure.
3rd and 4. Osweiler looks left, delivers to Willie, incomplete. Well covered there by Jamar Taylor, and the Sun Devils, Kirk, once again failed to convert on 3rd down. 0 for 7. And look at Osweiler. He's
taking
wild.
over.
He is just taking.
Yeah, he just told the coaches, forget about it.
He sure did.
You guys aren't going to be here next year. I am. I'm going for this on 4th down.
That is as forceful as a quarterback can get, with both hands pushing the punt team off the field.
Does he have enough players out there? Yeah, he does.
It hasn't mattered. They've had 11 out there and haven't picked up a 3rd down. Can they get a 4th down? Here comes the pressure. Osweiler chucks it downfield, and it's underthrown. They, against all-out blitz, tried to get the ball to Ross. He couldn't fight back inside on the underthrown pass.
We'll see when he comes to the sideline if the coaches have anything to say to him.
So the Sun Devils unable to cash in on the turnover. There's the conversation with Pizzoni. He has a smile on his face. Broncos take over up 18. Osweiler made a strong statement wanting to keep the offense on the field, but they could not pick up the 4th down conversion. K Jewelers bringing you the bowl season storyline so far. 10 Big Ten teams going to the bowl. Of course, you know all about Alabama and LSU. January 9th, the All-State BCS Championship game. We had some close bowl games to begin the season. Mount West struggling, losing the first 2 before TCU got the conference on the board last night. Moore back to work, flips it to Martin. He picks up about 6.
Pass complete.
Kind of put things in perspective towards that last sequence of events there with the quarterback, Brock Osweiler, saying, hey, we're going to go for this. We're going to go for this. Think about this. His offensive coordinator, the man who he's been putting up all these big numbers for, Noel Mazzoni, he'll be an offensive coach, more likely an offensive coordinator for Jim Mora Jr. at UCLA, competing against Brock Osweiler next year.
This is Martin. Jay Norville is the offensive coordinator for Graham here at Arizona State.
Yeah. Just a very unusual set of circumstances.
And Dennis Erickson, huge fan of Osweiler. He really believes that big guy is going to have a very strong senior season with the next coaching staff.
No doubt about it. You know, this first.
Should they have taken a timeout, Kirk? I mean, once Osweiler makes this big, just to get the things
think about
down,
the way the second half has started. They get points there, 28-13 or 28-17. It's a totally different game.
can't stop Martin on 3rd and 1, who busts it into Arizona State territory. HTC drive recap after the Parker interception. They get in position. This is on 4th and about 4, and he says, rather impolitely, and the team gets excited, but they underthrow Ross here.
All-out blitz in his face. They brought one more than the offensive line could handle. He tried to hang in there. He had one-on-one coverage, and the ball was just a little bit short.
There's Mazzoni. He'll be in UCLA next season. And Martin Kirk has reached the 100-yard mark. Ball on the ground, and the Sun Devils recover the fumbled snap. It's Jamar Jarrett. And Moore, who doesn't spend that much time under center,
right,
bobbles it.
Well, and the center is actually trying to pull out of there. And when a center is pulling out of there, quarterback's got to keep his hands in there longer. And for a quarterback that's not used to that, it's a little bit of a problem. Bird is trying to pull out. And the quarterback has got to do a better job of riding the center and making sure he gets his hands on the ball. He never touched it with Bird trying to pull out of there. We're 4.5 minutes into this second half. Arizona State has a kickoff return for a touchdown and 2 turnovers. They've got to get points here.
Play action. Osweiler wants to get points right away. Takes a shot downfield for Pflugrad, but the ball's underthrown, and Jamar Taylor will draw a flag in coverage.
Wow, late, and it came from the back judge, who was aligned in the middle of the field. The official, who was right on top of the play, didn't make a call. And about 15 or 20 yards away, the back judge threw that, and he threw it in late.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, automatic first
Taylor
down.
kind of got the left arm out in front of Pflugrad, who's really been effectively shut down tonight by the Broncos secondary. This is a guy that has the 3 longest pass plays of the year for Arizona State, Pflugrad. Of course, the transfer from Oregon, coach's son, shut out.
He is a go-to receiver in a different way. 5'10", 180 pounds. They try to find seams. They try to get him the ball quickly. And his hands, not very often you're going to see him downfield, because they have Willie and Robinson who can do that.
There's the lateral coming in motion. A.J. Pickens, again, one of the guys trying to, along with Middlebrooks, fill that Jamal Miles role tonight. That's an effective gain on first down. They have no running game, so that's effectively a running play.
And it's a big part of the offense. I mean, by stretching the defense out horizontally, it gets them to be able to come up closer to the line of scrimmage, and it just plays in perfectly to what Brock Osweiler wants to do, which is eventually get the ball thrown into the teeth of the defense downfield. Here it is again.
And Pickens this side, and Pickens gets a couple of good blocks by receivers and gets down into the red zone for a first down.
Yeah, you and I saw the same thing. I love to see receivers that are willing to block and help their teammates out. Darrell Robinson, this time at George Bell, downfield. Good job of sustaining their blocks, and you have got to be able to do that if you want to pick up enough yards to get a first down. And that time they did their jobs, and it gave Pickens enough room there. Back-to-back plays there. They've attacked horizontally.
And now in the slot there, it's Robinson who muscles down to the 5-yard line. No fumble. The ball ruled down, and up-tempo for the Sun Devils and big-time momentum here.
And by having some success side to side, it opens up some vertical seams. And this time they go side to side, back-to-back plays, gets the defense looking out there, and then they hit a vertical seam there. Great job and good reading, get the ball out of his hands quickly by Osweiler.
7th catch for Robinson, who comes out of the game on first down as Osweiler rolls out, puts it in the flat. That's Cole, who's fighting forward, but will be stopped a couple yards short of the goal line. Taylor on the tackle.
Osweiler that time could have kept attacking. He's an athletic guy at 6'8". He could have kept coming around to the edge and fought to the corner, making the defender actually commit more to him. Then that might have opened up actually not the big fullback, but the receiver behind the fullback, which is Darrell Robinson, who's in the corner of the end zone.
3 in the backfield along with Osweiler. And 2nd and goal. Marshall hammering straight ahead, stopped short. Dennis wants the touchdown, but Byron Hout prevented it. 3rd down.
Pretty big collision there by Howard by Marshall and Hout.
He's a big back. He's tough to stop.
He's 225 pounds, and we're in bowl season, so maybe up to 230.
See the physical nature of the Broncos' defensive front.
Yep.
But the Sun Devils
Gut check time here, boys.
Only need about a foot. Overhead view on 3rd down. Marshall hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Chase Baker combining with Crawford as they beat the blockers, and now it's 4th down.
Well, Baker's been making plays his whole career. He's lined up right over the left guard, 77, and actually just comes around. It's a little move there. Exactly what Tello was thinking there, I'm not sure, but there was some confusion up front, made it very easy for Chase Baker.
Osweiler doesn't have to convince the coaching staff this time. They'll go for it on 4th and goal, but this time get a yard and a half, and Dennis wants a timeout.
Yep. They don't get it, though. Snap the ball.
In the end zone, intercepted, picked off by Taylor, who's going to try to go end zone to end zone as Osweiler gives chase. Momentum back to the Broncos. Should have gotten the timeout. Erickson could see that coming.
That, my friends, is Arizona State season in a nutshell right there. Dennis Erickson, along with about 5 different assistant coaches, trying to get Osweiler's attention, trying to get anybody's attention. You know, you can call, by the way, timeouts from the sideline. I mean, I don't know if they. I mean, it couldn't get the officials' attention. They couldn't get anybody's attention.
That's the 2nd time I think that a timeout would have been the prudent thing to do.
Here they are calling timeout, 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 and they go on with the play. They throw it again to fade, and Taylor makes a great play on it.
So you got a kickoff return for a touchdown, and you've got an interception return for a touchdown, each longer than 100 yards.
It's under review.
Taylor wants to keep that football. They'll review whether or not he got to the end zone.
Let's see if maybe they're reviewing to see if he got the timeout.
We're being told that Erickson believes that he did call it. He was signaling before the snap. Whether or not they saw it is another matter. Here's Erickson on the sidelines. Quick conversation with Mazzoni, signaling timeout. You can see the frustration. Erickson looking. Did he get the officials' attention? You can see Osweiler making the final dive at Taylor's ankles. Erickson frustrated once again with his quarterback. Here's another look at Erickson and Mazzoni. Got with us in the booth here Walter Davenport, is an ACC official. Walter, take us through the official's point of view as the coach on the sidelines is trying to get the timeout called.
On that particular situation, the coach could have run down to the sideline, and he could have gotten the attention of the officials to call a timeout.
And he could have left
and the head coach, he could have left the box to do it. The head coach, we would have allowed something like that.
In that big a situation, he could have run all the way down to the 5-yard line even.
He was trying to do it verbally. Obviously couldn't get the attention of the official. So what's the judgment on the review here?
Walter, let me ask you this. Can anybody call the timeout, or it has to be the head coach?
It has to be the head coach. It has to be the head coach. And now, unless a player is on the field,
from the
player
bench,
on the field.
Yeah, from the bench. Okay.
Well, clearly no one on the field was calling a timeout.
No, they're locked in, ready to go. Talk about a huge play.
As the conversation continues, see if the touchdown return by Taylor will stand. A crushing blow if it does for Arizona State, which was trying to cut the lead to 11.
And you can see why they tried to call a timeout. A questionable play call there with a fade on on 4th and 1.
It's the second time they've thrown a fade on 4th down. Tom, what's your perspective on the field?
Erickson had actually dispatched Jarrell Robinson, who in a full sprint came down the sideline for him, essentially as a surrogate to try to get the attention of the official, who had his back turned inside the 5-yard line. Robinson at about the 15, and the ball snapped. He wasn't able to get far enough nor get the attention, but he understood, Erickson, that that wasn't going to happen. He dispatched Robinson to try to do it for him.
Tom, what's interesting is Walter Davenport telling us here up in the booth with the ACC that it has to come from the head coach.
But he could leave the box in that situation. He could have run out on the field.
Yeah, but not Robinson.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touch that.
So Robinson didn't get there in time to prevent the interception. And they were
so let's add this
inside
up.
the 2-yard line on a few snaps there.
Second half starts with an Arizona State kickoff return for a touchdown to give them a little bit of life. They create a turnover and don't get any points with it. They create another turnover, get the ball down inside the 1-yard line, and not only do they not get points, but they throw a pick 6 over 100 yards, and we're at 35-10.
Well summarized.
Okay, thank you.
Some mistakes by Boise State had really opened the door for Arizona State to get back in this thing, Kirk, and they had, first and goal down inside the 5. Marshall stopped a couple times, and then the fade pick on 4th down.
It was a really poor effort there on the fade. A play that it's very difficult to be able to execute that. I would have preferred to see a guy like Osweiler, who's athletic, maybe you roll him out, give him a chance to run or throw it.
Middlebrooks, let's see if he can create a spark for Arizona State. He's got the corner and he gets out near the 40-yard line. When you have no running game and the Broncos defensive line is shutting down Cameron Marshall, it maybe forces you to make some poor decisions. There's a flag on the return, and Arizona State will spoil some good field position.
Yeah, I just, again, I'm kind of mesmerized by, 28-10. It could have been 28-17, and now it's 35-10.
There's Erickson again trying to
timeout.
But again, he's allowed, as we've been told, to get out of the coaching box, run out in the field, tackle an official, do something.
But from the sidelines, it has to come from the head coach, and here's the poor throw on 4th down.
Move the football back to the 11-yard line. Will be 1st and 10 for the Sun Devils.
You're just saying I didn't hear you.
Yes, that right on the field down here.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Osweiler pressured, escapes, picks up about 4. If you're Brock Osweiler, you got to be just fuming. You can see he's been so frustrated throughout the last season, and tonight frustrated by all kinds of things. Got to go back to work.
Yeah, I mean, 14-point swing. Now you got to try to keep, in a game that you're losing, you're into the second half. You got to just keep fighting.
But in one play, you go from perhaps cutting it to 11, feeling you have a chance to be in a 25-point hole as he fires for Robinson and makes a nice catch.
It's a tough throw and a nice throw this time by Osweiler.
It's a 6'8" quarterback thrown to a 6'4" receiver.
Boise State dropping their linebackers, pretty good depth. They have 2 safeties behind those linebackers. It's a very, very tight window that the quarterback just has to have a nice touch to throw it over the linebackers and in front of the safeties to his big target.
Travis Stanley is just a 5'11" safety, so he's overmatched there against Robinson, who makes another catch, and Robinson takes off, hangs onto the ball. It's tomahawk, but it comes out after he hit the ground at the 36-yard line. So Robinson, the connection with Osweiler, effective now.
Dexter Simmons, the nickelback, right here, he starts to cheat up, and he came on the blitz, and Osweiler has got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. It's a little hot route, gets the ball out, and then again, you give the ball to Robinson in space. With his size, he's got good speed.
Couple pass plays to Robinson, and the Sun Devils are threatening again. Osweiler in the pocket and in traffic just delivers, and it's batted away from Bell by Dextrell Simmons.
Boise State now with this big lead, just trying to keep everything in front of them. They don't want to give up an easy play, an easy touchdown. They don't want to let any receivers get behind them. They'll give them some receptions in front of them, then they're going to have to gang tackle and prevent the big play at this point in the game.
Almost intercepted by 2 Broncos as it was tipped in the backfield, and then the diving attempt made by Stanaway.
How about Hout? Byron Hout here playing the middle linebacker. He's had a great year this year for Boise State. Leads them in tackles. Very instinctive. Watch him right in the middle of the field there. Reads the quarterback's eyes and almost gets over there to be able to make that play for an interception.
Hout goes about 240, a little bit under the 6 feet that he's listed as. A high motor guy. He's so active pre-snap, always jumping around. Play clock at 6 on 3rd and 10. Pressured again. They got him with the blitz, and a sack back near midfield by Shea McClellan.
This time they brought Simmons from the exact same spot, and it wasn't Simmons. Simmons is picked up very well by Marshall. It's the stunt up front by the defensive line that eventually got in and got the pressure. You could see some hesitation. McClellan's been consistent all year. That's his 7th sack on the year.
Another promising drive from Arizona State fizzles with the loss of 13. Here's Hubner trying to hang it up. Very short punt. There a catch at the 20. You said it. So many things tonight have been Arizona State's second half of the season in microcosm. Promising plays, but wasted opportunities.
ESPN College Football, the Maaco Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Las Vegas. Ring in 2012 in Las Vegas. Enjoy fireworks, dining, nightlife, and more. Only Vegas. The Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away in any new 2012 VW for practically just your signature. And Taco Bell. Think outside the box.
Come to Vegas, you got to see some shows, and this is the Jabberwocky show. Alden Darby, the ASU DB, shot a little backflip, and then some of the players were taken backstage and given an opportunity to show what they've got. This is the crew that won America's Best Dance Crew first season, headlining out here in Vegas. I think the backflip caught him off guard. Professionals. Now they'll try to work Martin, who's got a 100-yard game going, except just 2. Well, the Rose Bowl slides to January 2 on ESPN. ESPN presented by Vizio. Monty Ball and the Badgers against the Oregon Ducks. Coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern Time. You and Brent get a chance to watch a great offensive show. 2 great backs.
And Paul Chris, who's taken the pit job, has decided to stay on, finish it off, and be there to call plays for Bielema.
Good move to keep him?
Absolutely, I think.
Or plants it on 2nd and long, fires low, and the catch is made for the first down. There's a flag after they play. Do they hit the quarterback?
I think it's a hold, actually, on the offense.
Potter made the catch.
Holding. Offense. Number 74. 10-yard penalty for previous spot. 2nd down.
Corey Arardi is the center. Flag for the hold. No, I say that because sometimes when a coordinator is taking a head job, as Chris is going to go to Pittsburgh, he maybe hasn't worried about his attention being diverted.
You got Jim McElwain in Alabama, the same situation, taking the Colorado State job.
Moore on 2nd long, steps up, takes a shot near sidelines, and it's caught there by Burrows. Had to come back for it. But another episode of coverage conversion for the Sun Devils. 20 Knicks.
Chris, thank you. SportsCenter right now. Colts owner Jim Irsay says if Peyton Manning plays football next season, it will be in Indianapolis. Irsay also said, though, the Colts would take Manning's successor in the draft if the right quarterback is available. Indy, of course, front-runner for the #1 overall pick, and Matt Barkley is staying put. He will return for his senior season at USC, saying the Trojans have unfinished business in 2012.
And Wendy, thank you. This is Bill Sutton, a defensive tackle for the Sun Devils. Up and trotting off now. We talked earlier about Matt Barkley's decision, and you put USC top 2 or 3
I think
season.
Maybe, depending on how the bowl game shuffle sometimes affects next year's preseason rankings. But you look at the way USC finished the year, I think they were playing as well as anybody in the country. Matt Barkley coming back, you know, look at the skill that he has around him. I think they're a top 2 or 3 team in the country without a doubt.
Defense that really improved as the season went on.
Without a doubt.
For Monty Kiffin, a team that, as we talked about earlier, Arizona State really handled earlier this season. Miller shakes free into Sun Devil territory before he's knocked out. Really an impressive freshman. He's going to be catching passes from Kellen Moore's successor for years to come. Scouts Inc.'s top 3 quarterbacks. Robert Griffin III is shooting up the draft board, collecting the Heisman Trophy in the process. And Barkley would have been second to Luck on that board if he had come out.
And Luck is the only one of the 3 that's declared for sure that he's coming. He's going to decide to go in, into the draft, right?
RG3 has not made that official.
Or Jones. Assumption
Exactly.
Jones will be back.
Right. Underneath is Efa, hammering ahead. Close to a first down at the 35.
Going back to your question about coordinators staying on or leaving, I think it depends on the staff. I don't think you can just make a blanket statement and say, let them go or let them stay. I think it depends on how the rest of the staff has been as involved in preparing a game plan and being involved in the game, that game play itself, and calling the plays.
Baldovine collects it, but heavy traffic for the Sun Devils stop him. He does get first down inside the 35-yard line. Well, let's go back and talk about that Rose Bowl game. Wisconsin stopped short by TCU. Oregon, another opportunity on the big stage. They couldn't beat Ohio State out there, and obviously were beaten by Auburn in the championship game. What sticks out in your mind as you get set to prepare for that one?
Points. I really do. I think that Oregon has a chance with Darren Thomas, Michael James, Kenyon Barner and company to get Wisconsin in space and try to attack them, much like they did with Stanford. And I think with Russell Wilson and Monty Ball, I think they've got a chance to be able to attack a very aggressive Oregon defense. And I think you got a chance to see a lot of big plays. You can see the points all year, but Wisconsin averaging close to 45, Wisconsin 46. I think that trend could continue in the bowl game.
Interesting BCS matchup is another Pac-12 team. Stanford will try to slow down Oklahoma State's high-powered offense. Martin in the flat has a first down near the 20.
Doug Martin has had a busy night tonight. It started with the first play of the game, opening kickoff return for 100 yards and a touchdown. Been able to run the football tonight now. Let's see, over 100 yards. Been able to catch the ball to the backfield. Just overall a complete game, and when he's healthy, to me, he is as effective as any back in the country.
He's got it again. You can see him cut back. Doesn't look like much, but he picks up 6 yards.
He's so tough to bring down, and I think with there's DJ Harper coming in. One thing about spread offenses is I think that the shorter back who's a quicker back sometimes is a better fit for these kind of offenses.
Stand by for some fun here as once again the backup quarterback. So this time it's Grant Hedrick, kind of a wishbone little option, and it is a reverse. And taking it is Burrows. Burrows gets around the corner, tiptoes down near the 5-yard line. Whenever you see Kellen Moore come out, you pointed out, Kirk, something fun's going to happen.
Here it comes. You just don't know which way it's going. Kellen Moore checks out of the game, and Hedrick comes in, and it's going to be some kind of option attack. Twice tonight we've seen a reverse off of the look when Hedrick is in. One was in reverse pass for a touchdown, and this time they go to a reverse and pick up huge yards for another first down.
Final 30 seconds of the third quarter. One until this drive for Boise State that had not been a good quarter at all. This is Martin. Hammered. Picks up about a yard, and that should be the final play of the third quarter. Well, Arizona State briefly was back in this thing because a couple of turnovers by the Broncos in the third, but 2 non-offensive touchdowns plus Kellen Moore. It's a 25-point game. Las Vegas will be a scene of great memories for Kellen Moore. Apparently on his way to a second bowl victory, and this is the place, Sam Boyd Stadium, where he surpassed Colt McCoy as the all-time win leader among starting quarterbacks. He's also he's won huge at the craps table this week, Kellen.
Oh yeah?
No.
No.
Just made that up.
I was gonna say.
He stayed away from the casino floor.
I can't see that.
Almost got you. Second and goal. This little toss here to Harper, who cuts back and scores standing up before 15 yards will be tacked on the kickoff for another personal foul, but
it's all part of it, right?
Texas gets in there.
It's all part of a Boise State touchdown. Doesn't have to have a 15-yard personal foul hit.
Corey Adams came over and laid the lumber late.
Personal foul.
What's an NCAA record
Number
for
68.
personal fouls in the season?
15-yard penalty will be enforced.
Dennis is hoping that his team doesn't challenge that. Perhaps the Miami team down in the Cotton Bowl when they blasted their way to a big win and get it back. He had 18 penalties in that game.
That was a different kind of personal fouls that day.
Right. Those were not 15-yard penalties out of frustration. Dennis wears the championship ring from his second national championship at Miami, the one that he shared in the '91 season with Washington when they were undefeated. He won titles down there in his first and third seasons. Moments that he's proud of, but this has been a very painful final 2 months. An embarrassing end to what's been probably a Hall of Fame coaching career. Dennis Erickson, they wanted to run him out his very first year at Miami when he lost to Florida State, but he went on to win a national championship. Of course, we talked about the championship in '91. He's taken 3 different teams in the Pac-10/12 to bowl games. Came here to Arizona State. He was a conference coach of the year his first year when they got to the Holiday Bowl and lost to Texas. But again, at age 64, as painful and as embarrassing a stretch as he's ever had in his career. Apparently on their way to a 5th consecutive loss, and I'd be very surprised if Dennis ever coaches a game after this one, Kirk. He knows that the kinds of opportunities likely to come his way after this game, not that attractive. He felt like his team was emotionally ready. You could see him jumping around.
Right.
But things like this, just couldn't get the timeout when he tried to call it. Too many mistakes, too many penalties.
Yeah, that was at 28-10 when it looked like they were inside a 1-yard line. They had a chance to get it to 28-17 and all of a sudden have a ton of momentum and only down 11 points, but a 14-point swing really killed, I think, their chances in the second half.
It's Pflugrad making the short completion. Taylor on the tackle. Wanted this to be a nice send-off. His mother, Mary, down from Seattle to watch him. His wife, Marilyn, here, and he got a little bit choked up at the luncheon the other day when he talked about the support of his family. He's got a son, Bryce, on the staff here that he's worried about his future. He's got no next job lined up. Ball on the ground, scooped up, and it's a 3rd non-offensive touchdown for the Broncos. This one from Travis Stanaway. And it just gets uglier for the old coach in his finale.
When Hunter White was on his backside on a punt return when Anthony Jones hit him, and I pointed out Jones getting over top of Hunter White. Well, Hunter White gets a little revenge here, being involved in that fumble, creating that fumble before Stanaway picked it up and walked into the end zone.
Once again, Boise State's defense just suffocating, smothering the running game. With that, loss of yardage. Sun Devils at minus 15 yards on the ground in this game.
That was a big emphasis, running the football. Crawford fights back to get to the football. He's involved, but there's 25, Hunter White, who's been a player that's been active today. He's on special teams, but he gets he knocks that football loose, and pretty easy, pretty good bounce that time for Stanaway.
And you know, Cameron Marshall, you see the big plays tonight, 3 of them made by the Broncos. Marshall is a tough guy who's fought through ankle and shoulder injuries, and run for 1,000 yards this season, 18 touchdowns, and he has just been absolutely bottled up by that front wall of Boise State. Well, nowhere to run.
No, I mean, minus 15 yards. And they got behind in defense of the running game. Were 12 yards on 11 attempts. In defense of the running game, they did get behind by, they're down 14, 21 points before they could really get settled into their game plan. So right away they were playing catch up. So that impacted their stats. But they've not been able to control things up front. That veteran defensive line for Boise with McClellan and Baker and Wynn and Crawford have really controlled things up front.
11 carries for the tough guy Marshall, but only 2 of them have been longer than 2 yards tonight. Talked about more going on in style, but this group of defensive linemen, these 5 seniors who all consider themselves starters, Root, McClellan, Baker, Wynn, Crawford, they're going out in style too.
How much fun would it have seen Boise State in a BCS bowl game this year?
Well,
not only are they deserving, but how nice would it have been to see Kellen Moore and this group again in a high-profile game and showing that they can compete with the big boys.
Well, I know that you felt on Bowl Selection Sunday that they were the more logical, better choice, frankly, than Virginia Tech. Oh, yeah. They're ranked well ahead of Michigan and Virginia Tech, who will meet down in New Orleans. Middlebrooks tries to shake loose, steps out of a tackle, gets out across the 45-yard line. Well, Saturday night on ESPN, Capital One Bowl week continues from the islands. Oahu specifically, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, as high-scoring Southern Miss. Austin Davis, veteran quarterback, his final college game against the Wolfpack at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Nevada can score points as well.
They can. They can. Always wonder about the trip to Hawaii. Who's been more focused and not spending time at the beach?
Morrison down the sidelines as Cameron Marshall may have his evening end on a very low note. Really frustrating night for the junior, and it's James Morrison, junior from Phoenix, taking a turn. That's by far their best running play of the night. They're trying to get up near plus territory before the game ends.
Another 4 yards.
Sitting at -3 right now. Osweiler looking for Robinson, has him open at the seam, and he's had a big night in his final college game as well. It's 10 catches for the lanky receiver. Well, if you look ahead at 2012, Osweiler won't have 3 of his top 4 guys to throw to. Todd Graham's offense, though, really predicated on timing and rhythm. It'll be an adjustment for the big quarterback.
Yeah, and he does have Osweiler coming back and Marshall, and he is going to have to be able to locate some receivers. His top 3 receivers, as you said, Willie, Robinson, and Flubrad, all will be moving on.
Over the middle, Robinson collects this one and stretches for the end zone.
There's the creases that they're trying to find. They have a safety who's in the middle of the field, a little bit of a play action look, but he just beat his man to the inside. It's one of the few times that we've had a chance to see Osweiler throw the ball down inside deep in Boise State territory. They brought a linebacker blitz, and he got matched up one-on-one that time with Fabus. He made a good throw, and they took advantage of that. There's that crease. That's the seams that they love to be able to hit, those vertical seams against defenses. They finally hit one.
First offensive touchdown tonight for the Sun Devils. 13 minutes to go.
ESPN College Football, the Maaco Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Maaco. Maaco Collision Repair and Auto Painting Centers repair and paint more cars than anyone. Uh-oh, better get Maaco. Las Vegas. Ring in 2012 in Las Vegas. Enjoy fireworks, dining, nightlife, and more. Only Vegas. And the new Capital One Cash Card for people who want 50% more cash.
Give the Arizona State band some credit. You see shots of the pep rally. Even down big at halftime, that Sun Devil marching band was showing at least as much fight as the football team.
They were gamers.
Osweiler with that touchdown pass to Robinson, breaking the Arizona State single season yardage record, but that'll be a hollow achievement. What's been a really frustrating night for the big guy, capping off a nightmarish second half of the season for a group that was bowl eligible in October. We've talked about it. And we'll enter the Todd Graham era with a 5-game losing streak, barring something bizarre in the fourth quarter here. It's a short kickoff taken on the hop by Harper. DJ gets across the 25-yard line. Kellen Moore in his career has never had a bad game, says Chris Peterson. Never had a bad game. He walks in for his final college game. He's talking to you while he's throwing balls in warm-up. Hadn't yet thrown a touchdown, but he kicked a little pooch punt and then finally gets one to Shoemaker. Second one to Miller here. And the stats being updated as we speak. Never a bad game in a game that's 53.
When you're 50-3 and you're 5 points away from being 53-0.
Yeah.
That's about as close to perfection as I think we've ever seen.
Moore and this group of seniors, some of whom have been a big part of 4 years of success. If you think about it, there was the narrow losses as we check the Dove Men Plus Care quarterback spotlight. Very important, most important moment of the night here for you.
What Dove Men Plus Care?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can't do another year. He's done. It'll be somewhere else making money. You know what Kellen was doing when RG3 was winning the Heisman Trophy, and I know Broncos fans were disappointed he didn't get the invite as dictated by the voters to be a Heisman finalist again this season. You know what he was doing that Heisman day?
I do.
I bet you people out there,
they will never know.
Making a gingerbread house at home. His wife Julie.
Is that his way of boycotting the Heisman?
No, it wasn't boycotting it. He said he was very
I hope they get a first down.
Impressed by RG3.
We need to talk about their left tackle. See if they get a first down here. Keep this drive alive.
Oh! Shot as the ball bounces off the hands. The receiver, Darby and Elder colliding. What did you want to say about
I want
the
to talk about Nate Potter.
Oh, okay.
He's running off the field. He's going to be maybe a first-rounder next year, left tackle. They've had a couple left tackles the last few years come out of Boise. Yep. Nate Potter, an All-American, first-team All-American, and academic All-American, and he's from Boise.
Yeah,
and that's pretty impressive.
He looked like he was born to sit up there in a coat and tie. He was at the press conference all dressed up. Then he ripped it off and put that golf shirt on as soon as he could get away from the podium. It was a little rugby punt. Just get away from it. And he said that afterward, he admitted, I looked down, there was this suit jacket on the ground. He said it was the community team big guys blazer, which that everybody wears when they have to do something official. And he couldn't get it off fast enough to throw it on the ground.
Looked like a 5-year-old in a suit, just wanted to get out of it.
Freshman throwing it, and it's intercepted. TCU wins it. No good. This is turning into a disaster. Nevada with the win. Mighty Boise has gone down. And it is no good. The Frogs have beaten Boise.
Looking almost certainly like it'll be win number 50. We showed you the 3 losses by Moore as a starting quarterback. Missed field goals, prominent in all of them.
Crazy.
A poinsettia ball back in 2008 against TCU. Horned Frogs have gotten him twice as the Broncos try to get Osweiler here. He fires on the sidelines, catch made by Pflugrad at the 25. So 3 losses by a total of 5 points. The TCU one especially painful this year. That was a great drive down the field by the Horned Frogs, the 2-point conversion to tie it, but then Moore did get him in field goal position before Goodale misfired.
And the Boise State defense didn't really play up to what you would expect from them.
Osweiler over the middle, and Robinson is wide open, spinning free and running inside the 30. Flips another tackle and gets down inside the 20. So Robinson on the stat sheet's going to have a monster night, better than it actually was in reality.
Well, they're just the one thing you got to love. There are a few guys in the Arizona State team that aren't quitting. They're competing. Robinson is one of them. Osweiler's the other. I mean, these guys are playing, and they don't care about the score. They're just out there executing and trying to put up more points. They're not looking at that scoreboard.
You go back to the Arizona game, Kurt, that's more than 400 yards. 2 out of the last 3 games for Robinson. It's Morrison with the incompletion.
Just to finish off on Moore with those close losses, the 3 losses, the other thing, in an era where we always debate, is Boise State or a TCU capable of competing with the big boys? Kellen Moore tonight, after he wins tonight, will finish 6-0 against teams from BCS conferences. Including beating Oregon twice, knocked off Virginia Tech basically on the road. They played him in Washington, D.C. They beat Georgia this year in the Georgia Dome, and they beat Oregon State. I mean, it's pretty good.
By the way, in those wins against the BCS AQ teams coming in the 5 previous, 13 touchdowns and 2 picks. Can add 2 interceptions tonight. More touchdowns as well. Now, how do you follow the all-time winning quarterback in college football? The contenders would be Joe Southwick, who's a sophomore. The redshirt freshman Grant Hedrick, who's gotten in a couple times tonight. They've got a guy named Jimmy Lockery, who's redshirting, and an incoming freshman who's going to be on campus in January, named Nick Patty from Orlando, to compete. You see Southwick in the headset. Tough act to follow.
It's going to be an interesting spring ball in Boise between the defensive line replacements and the quarterback situation.
Clock ticking down. Did Osweiler get it off? Well, he's knocked down anyway.
Osweiler.
Get another sack and still playing inspired football is Drew Alroot, who's the vocal character of that defensive line.
Again, they bring the pressure with the nickelback Simmons, but it's not Simmons who gets in there. It's just a defensive line with some twists and some movement, but just collapsing the entire pocket. And you can see Osweiler, he just waved the white flag. He just ducked. He had nowhere to go.
Well, speaking of the white flag, here comes a field goal attempt from Alex Skarut from 40 as they try to chip away the 32-point lead here. They called timeout.
Timeout, Arizona State. They're first in the half.
But it is 4th and 16. I don't like their chances of converting.
We talked so much about Kellen Moore. Can we mention at least Chris Peterson? Since 2006, when he started in his first year as a head coach, they went 13-0. The infamous Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma. That was his first year. After tonight, he'll be 73-6 as a head coach. 73-6, and he's 2-0 in BCS bowl games. And every year he's going somewhere else. Every year this time of year he's going to become a head coach somewhere else. And every year he stays at Boise State.
UCLA was rumored this year.
Yeah, and they're going to move into the Big East next year. Chance to be in a BCS conference.
Year after next.
Year after next. I apologize. But a chance to at least compete and no longer have to be in that debate. Should they be? Should they not be? But Chris Peterson, and you talk to his peers, all of them from every region. First guy that they point to is Chris Peterson for one of the coaches that they admire around the country.
You think 4 consecutive 12-win seasons, which has never been done before, by the way. And they do feel like they deserve better. And Osweiler off the ground picks up his snap and is dropped. The offensive line just being overrun by the Broncos. That's Billy Wynn. Again, Las Vegas native with his second sack, and there's a big fella limps off. So they called timeout, went for it after thinking about it, and it didn't really matter.
Can't get the snap.
No. Monday on ESPN2, Advocare V100 Independence Bowl. We talked about Missouri and the Tar Heels. 5 o'clock DC time. You get another team on the move. So much transition in college football. So many coaches on the move, with Fedora going to Chapel Hill. We talked about that. Missouri taking off the SEC.
Yeah.
Callen's still in there and pitching it. Ball is caught by Dallas Burrows.
Going to give him maybe one final drive here.
The curtain call series.
She said, just don't get hurt.
This is his wife, Julie. And the Broncos fans all on their feet. Number one, because it's cold, but also because I think they're eager to sort of take in the last 8.5 minutes of the Kellen Moore era and this group of 21 seniors who together have accomplished so much and taken this program to unbelievable heights. And as you said, well, it really is a shame that it's on a bigger stage that they can conclude the season on. Because this is a BCS-worthy team for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And in an era when it becomes about ticket sales or other things besides the quality of the team
is big.
And they rank well ahead of both Michigan and Virginia Tech, the teams that will meet in New Orleans.
Kansas State finished 10-2. There are a lot of people that thought the Wildcats and Bill Snyder might be a BCS at-large team.
Tape on the ankle of Osweiler. Got tweaked in that sack in the last series. Moore flips it back. Moldavine collects it, almost bobbled it, and takes a hit as he gets near first down yardage. Parker on the tackle. I want to see one more brother-to-brother connection. You know, there's Kirby Moore. He had the ill-fated pass attempt. He's caught a couple of balls tonight. But again, just that one touchdown.
Maybe that's why he's still in
this season. He caught a couple in 2009. Although Kellen said one of them, his first career touchdown, caught by little brother, he'd wandered into the wrong area. He had run the wrong route and just happened to be there to catch the touchdown pass.
I don't know. You think about Kirby Moore as a sophomore next year. He's going to miss his brother. Everyone's going to miss his brother.
Gonna miss this guy too. As Martin almost busted another one, a shoestring tackle by Keelan Johnson, but 16 more yards for another senior who's going out in style.
Power player. They pull that backside guard around, and Doug Martin just continues to get better and better as the game goes on. He's up to 131 yards. Brent Peace, the offensive coordinator, telling us as we get ready for this game, Chris, that his goal was to get Doug Martin 25 touches. And it's pretty close to that. You include the receptions and special teams, and he's closer to 30.
Set the tone tonight. He'll finish his career with a fourth consecutive 100-yard game. He's got it again. Toss sweep. He's still running hard. You can see how much desire he shows. He only knows one gear.
Oh, he's anytime, and he's the same way in practice, and that's what really makes him the kind of back that he is. Boise State knows how to find players that fit their system. Here's a guy that's probably told by a lot of people his whole life he's too small, he's not quite big enough to play at a big-time program. Just like almost everybody else in that huddle's been told something. You're not big enough, you're not fast enough, whatever it is. They find those guys that have a chip on their shoulder collectively, and they put that out on display, and they all play with one heartbeat. And Doug Martin really embodies that attitude as well as anybody.
See, only 3 active players have more touchdowns in the FBS. That's a first down as Martin hurdles that barrier from the far sidelines. Broncos fans show their appreciation for the effort.
That was about as good a 3-yard carry as you're going to see. This is for a first down. Look at a little shake there. See the fast twitch, and then he goes up and over. But before that play started, he had to fight just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, this team is going to be told next year, there's no way you can sustain.
They love that. They feel
Kellen Moore's gone, Martin's gone, all those defensive linemen are gone. People are going to tell the Broncos who are returning that they can't do it again next year. This is Burrows, a guy who will be back next year.
Don't bet against him. When they lost Jared Zabransky, and they had a lot of great teams and a lot of great games, a lot of people thought they wouldn't be able to replace Jared Zabransky, and a lot of them, not just Zabransky, but a lot of players around him. And here, Kellen Moore stepped up. People looked at him in his uniform and said, who's this guy? This is the quarterback, Kellen Moore? And there'll be a guy next year. And Chris Peterson told us, whatever the strengths of our starting quarterback, if he's an athlete, we'll adjust our system to his athletic ability. If he's a thrower, then we'll adjust our strengths of his to him being a passer.
Martin has it again. Still running hard. Gives up another first down.
Just, you know, they open up with Michigan State in East Lansing next year, which, you know, there'll be a lot of naysayers, which they love. They just feed off of that.
But you're right, they'll be underdogs with all those new faces and a new quarterback heading into the East Lansing. They have almost an entire defense. There's a couple guys. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Herbie, you give it.
I gave them credit.
They're mad at a lot of people.
Not me.
At ESPN. Not you.
Not me.
You're not running for office, are you?
No. I've been driving that bus for about 3 years.
Martin's still running hard, bouncing sideways. Makes a few more tackles. Hey, that was a printed sign. That wasn't anything homemade. That was like somebody went to like a printer and had your little tribute sign printed up there.
There's some of it used to be fun. The BCS selection show. There are a couple of our friends that put them down at like 9 or 10 in their.
Can't they get your picture on there? So couldn't they have taken a shot off the internet and put it on that banner for you?
I say nothing. I see 3 minutes to go here. 49-17. They're still trying to get another touchdown.
If you add in the kickoff return, Martin now has more than 300 total yards. This is Martin. Dragged down and flags fly as they got the face mask.
Or the horse collar.
Yeah, Oliver Aaron may have gotten the back of the neck.
Now we got Arizona State. One player picked up a flag and threw it.
That'll usually cost you another one.
Yeah. Eddie Elder picked up a flag, and I don't know if he was throwing it at an official or just kind of throwing it in frustration. Guessing that might be the.
Yeah, well, it'll be half the distance on the first.
So what do you
penalty.
do when you have 2 personal fouls on one play and you're already half the distance?
You say not again.
Half the distance, half the distance.
You just say, if you're Dennis, you say not again.
2 personal fouls. Oh, it's
face mask. Defense. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Dead ball, unsportsmanship-like conduct. Number 6 on the defense, half the distance to the goal. First down.
So they're going to march backwards. There's been a lot of assistance given. That's 8 penalties of 10 or more yards. There's the face mask.
Yeah.
You got their money's worth against Martin. Yeah.
And then Elder picked the flag up and just kind of nonchalantly threw it.
Yeah, they said 6, which is Shelley Lyons.
I think the flag may have hit Elder, and he kind of picked it up and caught it and just kind of threw it.
So you want to get Kellen Moore one final touchdown pass in his career, or you want to give Martin one more
Is his brother in the
rushing
game?
touchdown?
Depends if his brother's in the game.
If you see Kirby Moore.
But Doug Martin doesn't have a rushing touchdown tonight. You got to get him a rushing touchdown.
High formation with Shoemaker in motion. They get the jumbo formation and they hand it off to Martin, who hammers into the end zone. There was the missing piece, the kickoff return to start it, the touchdown run to finish it.
He's done a lot of work tonight. The least they could do is let him finish off one of the drives.
They also put Kellen under center a lot in that drive just to show he could do that. With the fumbled snap earlier tonight. It gives him 302 all-purpose yards for Martin. That's a Maaco Bowl Las Vegas record. And There's the extra point to make it 56, and it's a new bowl record for points scored. 3 non-offensive touchdowns and a monster night for the senior tailback and the senior quarterback. He showed up, Kirk, looking about 11 years old, number 11, get his first career win at Idaho State. Some big wins over the BCS AQ teams. He beat the Hokies once, of course.
Oregon a couple times.
Georgia to start the season. Heisman finalist a year ago. Breaking all of Boise State's records. Another monster year this year, but finished 8th in the Heisman voting. Senior day was emotional. Final time on the blue rug, and tonight, career win number 50. Had 3 turnovers. Wasn't a perfect game. Didn't have to be. And there's big Nate Potter. And Kirk, he seems like it goes by so fast. And Kellen's told us that it's so many good memories, and his role will change, and he still has, as we talked about, a burning desire to prove people wrong. He, of course, is the Capital One player of the game, 7 yards shy of 300. But you said do not bet against this guy being able to make an impact.
I think once he gets a chance to really fine-tune his preparation and learning how to get underneath the center and work on his drops and get his timing and rhythm down from being able to come from under center, that'll be a big part of his development and getting ready for the next level. I'm not saying he's going to walk in and be a starter, but you look around the NFL at some of the 2nd and 3rd string quarterbacks, you're telling me a guy that makes as quick a decisions as he does, and he's as accurate as Kellen Moore. There's a place in the NFL for Kellen Moore. And I could care less if he gets drafted in the 2nd round, 6th round, 7th round, or free agent. It's a matter of just getting a chance to get on a team, and if he does, there's an offensive coordinator in his right mind that's going to chase him away.
Rosswater to Pflugrad. Saw the coverage of the trophy ceremony. We'll follow on ESPN3. The Broncos fans, almost all of them have stayed to give one final salute to Moore and this group of seniors for all they've done.
A lot of hugs going on down there. It's the end of a great run, great era.
And on the other side, very deflating end of the Dennis Erickson era. Robinson, another catch, takes a big shot. Guy that we talked about the credentials that suggest he would certainly be a candidate for the Hall of Fame. But very few fairy tale endings for coaches in their career. Ask so many guys, Dennis Erickson's colleagues, they'll tell you the same thing. He's been carried off as a national champion twice. Oregon State just embarrassed Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl when he coached in Corvallis, helped rebuild Washington State. Almost intercepted, but there's no way to call his tenure in Tempe a success at all.
No.
Able to get to 2 bowl games in that time, not win one.
I thought it was interesting, Brock Osweiler telling us yesterday that their entire offseason was built to Rose Bowl, Rose Bowl, Rose Bowl. They really felt that they had the talent, and I think you and I agree that there's the physical talent. This is a team that beat USC. They have the talent to get to the Rose Bowl. And when they went to 6-2 and then eventually lost to UCLA, I think this team shut it down. I think they put all their eggs in one basket, and I think they shut it down. And that's the toughest part to deal with this year. I do. I mean, when I say shut it down, Wazoo shouldn't have been on the same field with them.
I agree.
But Arizona shouldn't have been on the same field with them. Cal could compete with them a little bit, but they're still better than Cal. I'm talking about physically. So
when you say shut it down,
I'm talking about when they hit a rough spot in the game, how do you handle it? And after they lost that game to UCLA, I think it took all the wind out of their sail as far as their fight, as far as their determination.
They would say that they continue to, as there are flying flies in the secondary, continue to work hard and compete and show fight. But this was a team that was unable to reverse a slide. Once they faced adversity, a bad play in the game, they couldn't pull out of it.
I just think
Ball will be
You
placed
look at
spot as
Vontaze
foul.
Burfict
Automatic
as an
first down.
example. Here's a guy that some people felt was the National Player of the Year before the season started, and he has a lot of issues, and he's one of your leaders, you know, and I think his attitude is a reflection of some of the other players on this team. And
But
I think
they were in so many games.
I know they're
though.
in games, but Chris, personal fouls, missed tackles, missed assignments, that's what I mean by quit. You're not preparing. It's one thing to show up on Saturday and try to win a game. It's another thing, Monday through Friday, what are you doing in the film room? What are you doing to get yourself ready to play disciplined football? I think they lost their will to fight in that regard and compete and prepare. That's where you win games, Monday through Friday. You don't win a game on Saturday, show up against Washington State, who you're better than, and feel like, hey, we competed. I'm talking about competing Monday through Friday. And I think after they lost to UCLA, they stopped competing.
There was that 3rd and 29 conversion by the Bruins that turned it all around for Arizona State. The Bruins made that first down, won the game. The Sun Devils haven't won since. There's a completion in the flat to George Bell, who scoots in with half a minute to go for an, oh, by the way, touchdown.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, you can look at Osweiler and say he's competing, and he is. I mean, this offense is, all night they've been trying to make plays. He's fighting through, looks like a bit of an ankle injury, limping around out there, but still they put up 24 points against Boise State.
And George Bell, by the way, is a senior, hadn't had a touchdown all season, finally gets one in the final 30 seconds of the bowl game. Almost a 400-yard game and a lopsided loss for Osweiler. Christmas Day, once again, opening day. The delayed start of the NBA season. A couple games on ABC. Heat and Mavs at 2:30. Bulls and the Lakers at 5. Then over to ESPN at 8 o'clock. Magic at Thunder, followed by the Clippers and the Warriors. Also available on ESPN 3.
I think the biggest area that Todd Graham is going to have to address with this team, they're going to have talent. Dennis Erickson has left him some players. But I think the big thing is what I just talked about. I mean, he's going to have to work in the offseason, winter conditioning. The first day that he shows up as the head coach and Dennis Erickson and the staff moves on, he's going to have to make sure he sets a tone about discipline, about commitment, about sacrifice, about being a good teammate. I mean, those are the things that if you look at teams like Alabama and LSU and the teams that win year in and year out, that's what they have. And this Arizona State team doesn't have it. How about the pregame warm-up? I mean, just you've got to find more discipline on this team if they want to be serious about competing with the better teams in the country and their own conference.
You sensed in the pregame warm-up that perhaps there was more intensity
on the blue side
than
just a little bit.
Well, I think you're right. I felt for years that this Arizona State program was perhaps one of the best positioned to challenge USC in the Pac-12 year in, year out. Why not Arizona State?
A lot of people in kind of the coaching fraternity think that Arizona State's potentially a sleeping giant.
Exactly.
You know, with the facilities.
Other guys have felt that too. Hunter White on the kickoff return. And there'll be one final snap for number 11. Seconds tick down on an incredible career as he stretches his all-time record for wins by a starter to an unsurmountable 50.
Chris Peterson.
Oh, there's the blue Gatorade bath.
So what do you think? Do they take a knee and call a timeout and let Kellen Moore go off the field?
Well, assuming he doesn't throw another pass, this will be the final career passing stats. 142 and 28 TD INT for his career.
Not bad. Another record that'll probably never be taken down.
And an undefeated record in his career against the so-called big boys, the BCS AQ teams. 56, a new record for points scored in the Maaco Bowl, Las Vegas. And for Dennis Erickson, a painful final walk and an end to 4 decades in coaching. It's all this guy has ever known. He's been to the mountaintop a couple of times, but this is the lowest of lows.
Yeah, tough way for his season.
As the fireworks, let's sit down at Tom Rinaldi is with Kellen. Tom?
Chris, thanks very much. Kellen, as the clock was ticking down to 0, I saw you exchange a lot of embraces with fellow teammates. What was going through your mind?
Oh, it's just been a special 4 or 5 years. A lot of people helped us get to where we were, and can't thank them enough.
How do you describe where this program was to where you leave it in the time you've been here?
Well, I think the goal is always, you know, the progress where you are when you come in, and hopefully you elevated it and took it to a whole new level.
What are you most proud of?
Just taking advantage of opportunities and sharing this with people you care about.
You've heard the doubts. You've heard it a lot of your football playing life. You don't have the prototypical size. You don't have the prototypical arm strength necessarily. There's people who repeat those doubts to you now about the next level. What's your message to them?
I've done it before. I'll be excited about the next step, and it'll be a challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Finally, we saw your brother throw a pass in this football game. How would you critique that?
I owe him because I was supposed to protect him.
50 wins. We may never see it broken. Congratulations, Kellen.
All right, thank you very much, Tom.
Chris.
And the Broncos fans joining the pile here to celebrate an emphatic bowl win, Kirk. We'll see what the future holds for Kellen Moore at the next level and for the Broncos next season.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting transition period for Chris Peterson, not only with Kellen Moore, but the defensive line. They're going to lose a lot of great seniors. We'll see what
Another
happens
win
next
for Peterson
year.
and a lot of work to do in Tempe for Todd Graham. Coming up next is Sports Center for live coverage of the trophy ceremony. Go over to ESPN 3. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, for Kirk Herbstreit, Tom Rinaldi, and our entire crew here in Las Vegas. I'm Chris Fowler. So long for now. Let's get you over to Sports Center.